you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on OpenSignal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Make your first lawn move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. Hedge trimmers, mowers, string trimmers, and more. Shop in-store or online at steeldealers.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Vice President J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote, and President Trump's massive tax and spending bill passed the Senate today. Majority Leader John Thune.
Republicans have been laser-focused on achieving the bill before us today. And now we're here, passing legislation that will permanently extend tax relief for hardworking Americans.
Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer.
In one fell swoop, Republicans passed the biggest tax breaks for billionaires ever seen, paid for by ripping health care away from millions of Americans, taking food out of the mouth of hungry kids.
Here's CBS's Nicole Killian.
Now that this is all wrapped up in the Senate, it obviously will go over to the House, but already we are hearing some concerns from members over there because the Senate version, while not dramatically different from what the House sent over, does have some significant changes, and it is taking a bit for some of these members to digest.
Trump was in Florida today touring the new migrant detention center.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
There are an estimated 200,000 alligators in the Everglades. Trump had wanted to reopen Alcatraz Island in San Francisco. It's surrounded by shark-infested waters. Heat records across Europe were shattered today in Paris, where it reached as high as 107 degrees. Tourists were slowing down.
I think just taking it slow. If we need to take a break, we just break and then continue walking.
There is a renewed call for the disbanding of a controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed aid distribution system in Gaza. CBS's Deborah Patta has that.
130 humanitarian organizations, including some of the world's biggest NGOs, have called for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation operations to be shut down, saying the foundation is violating all the norms of humanitarian work.
Televangelist Jimmy Swaggart has died. Michael Wallace reports.
All that the Lord hath said. At its peak in the 1980s, Jimmy Swaggart Ministries aired in more than 140 countries and made $500,000 a day in donations and sales of Bible courses, music, and merchandise. But in 1987, the Reverend was photographed entering a New Orleans motel with a prostitute.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
He continued to preach, but donations decreased. Swaggart had been in intensive care since suffering a heart attack on June 15th. He was 90.
On Wall Street, stocks are mixed today. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 401 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
An accused quadruple killer plans to plead guilty. The family of one of the victims says this is not justice. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Seattle's University District, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at Northeast 45th Street. Travel time, Linwood to Seattle, 32 minutes, 10 longer than typical. In Parkland, crews are still working to clear a logging truck that rolled over and spilled its load onto State Route 512 west of Canyon Road. Traffic getting by on the shoulder and is backed up from the South Hill curve to the scene. Traffic brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru of Puyallup has you covered with over 300 new Subarus on the lot. Come in now so you can secure today's pricing on tomorrow's cars.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. The family of at least one of four murdered University of Idaho students is reacting with shock that the suspect, Brian Kohberger, is expected to plead guilty in the case to avoid the death penalty. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss says Kaylee Consalva's family has posted on social media.
Here's some of what they had to say. We did talk to the prosecution on Friday about the possibility of a plea deal, and it was a hard no from our family. It was very nonchalant and barely discussed, as the majority of the conversation was surrounding the upcoming trial.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has reaction from the scene of the murders.
A small memorial now sits here at the murder scene. Candles, stuffed animals, notes to the victims. This now empty lot is where prosecutors say Kohberger entered a house and murdered 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Some people in this college town are still scared.
It crosses my mind all the time. Someone could just break in and just kill my family.
Kohberger is expected to enter his guilty plea Wednesday in court. In Moscow, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
We're learning more about the man who's accused of killing 2 firefighters in northern Idaho and critically injuring a third.
There is information that we've received that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter.
Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris says it is unclear, though, if that had anything to do with why 20-year-old Wes Rowley set a wildfire and then shot at the firefighters who responded. The motive is unclear. Rowley killed himself. Washington State is leading a 16-state lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Education over cuts to school mental health funding. Attorney General Nick Brown says the decision to end grants for K-12 mental health programs violates federal law, and it puts students at risk. Frustration over contract talks has emergency medical workers for Multicare hitting the picket line in Parkland. More from KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha.
These picketers are taking this moment leading up to the 4th of July to hold a 5-day strike.
I have worked the last 3 4th of Julys here. We always have trauma. It always has to have you function at your top skill level. And at this point, we don't know the caliber of the employees that they have brought in to replace us.
The union representing these workers only certified their union in May of 2024. And since then, the workers say Multicare has been engaged in unfair labor practices.
Multicare says it is negotiating in good faith and adds it does not anticipate any disruption to patient care. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It is 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Jake Skorheim, your host. Sitting beside me is Spike O'Neill, who is... oh, good God.
I'm kidding.
Yesterday was your grace period.
Yesterday's
right?
my grace, yes. Yesterday I stayed home as a safety precaution.
Excellent.
Make sure I don't drag a whole bunch of bag of bugs in here for you nice people to work with.
That's good to hear.
Thank you, my friend.
That is the correct thing to do. That is the polite thing to do for your coworkers.
It is.
There's a whole group of people who think that you should come in here and work all the time, even if you're sick.
I was one of those.
I'm not one of those. I used to be one of those too.
I grew up. I grew up and realized that it was not smart to push through and be there for the cause. Yeah, and just like snot all over the entire building.
Ugh,
that doesn't do any good.
Gross.
So thank you guys very much for the grace day yesterday. I appreciate it. I'm feeling 1,000% better.
We're glad to have you back.
I had to pee back.
Let's jump right into things.
Please do.
We're trying something new where we just jump right into it. First things first. So we have a few stories that everybody's talking about. And before we get into these stories, I want to make one acknowledgement because I'm kind of ripping this idea off of my old boss, Dory Monson.
Okay.
He used to do this thing called the big lead where we'd like jump right in with the big lead.
You bet.
And there was background music. And it was such a cool way to get like momentum going and the stories that people are talking
The
about.
stories that matter to the city. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you're going to steal from the best.
You're going to steal from the best. And coincidentally, today would have been 41 years for Dory if he was still with us. So just an acknowledgement. Best guy in the world. Deeply, deeply missed. But we still think of him all the time. I think of him every single day in here. All right, let's jump into the stories. First things first here, that Bryan Kohberger plea deal that everybody's talking about right now in exchange for basically a guilty plea.
Yeah, for avoiding a long public trial that could have ended in acquittal.
It could have, but it would have started in a month.
Yeah.
He has agreed to plead guilty in exchange for prosecution dropping the death penalty, which means that he will end up serving out his remainder of days in prison, which is more than the people that he allegedly killed got to do. We have audio. This is from his family. Not his family, I'm sorry, from the family of Kaylee. How do you pronounce his last name? Is it Gondal? How do you pronounce this? Kaylee
Goncalves, I think. I apologize. I should be respectful enough to understand.
I think it's Goncalves. Yeah.
Goncalves. That's my best guess at it, and I apologize for having to guess.
He is being prosecuted for killing 4 people: Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, Zaina Kernodle, and Madison Mogan, all in their early 20s, all in Moscow, Idaho, back in November of 2022. And the families have been waiting a long time. First, it took a long time to find the guy. You might remember that bizarre search for the killer.
Cross country.
Yes,
you bet.
The weird footage they had of him in his car. And then they finally get the guy and they arrest him and they're going to be prosecuting him with this. Then they wait all this time. There's delay after delay after delay. And now here we are. It's 2025. It's going to start up. They're supposed to start the case in August, and the families might see. I mean, you're never going to get full justice because you're not going to get your kid back, but the families might see some justice that this guy might get the death penalty. And then I'm going to read you a Facebook post from the family of Kaylee Goncalves.
This is from her dad, I believe?
This is from her dad posted this, yeah. And I think we have some audio, too, of him on NBC this morning. He says, I would like to clarify a couple of things. We did talk to the prosecution on Friday about the possibility of a plea deal, and it was a all-caps hard no from our family. It was very nonchalant and barely discussed as the majority of the conversation was surrounding the upcoming trial. Nothing, again, all caps, in our conversation prepared us for the next steps. Sunday night, so just 2 days after this conversation, Sunday night we received an email that sent us scrambling. Think about being informed after years of waiting for this trial, years of hearing from investigators, of trying to get answers. They send you an email to tell you that the guy that they were going to charge, who's pleading guilty now to killing your kid.
Yeah, a plea has been offered and accepted.
Is going to get a plea deal and is not going to face a death penalty.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
We immediately jumped in. That's what they continue. We immediately jumped into panic mode, and we started making phone calls and sending emails. We met the prosecution again today to reiterate our views on pushing for the death penalty. Unfortunately, all of our efforts did not matter. We did our best. We fought harder than anybody could ever imagine. Please do not argue or try to tell us that we should have done this or that. We gave 200% for the last 2 years and 7 months. One day we will tell you all what we have really been through from day one. You will all be shocked. We fought a long battle, but we lost the war. We did gain an army of love that we know will always stand by us. We have so much love for each and every one of you. You all gave us strength, and we felt like we couldn't take another step. Called us off the ledge when we felt like we couldn't take another step. Called us off the ledge when we were ready to wave the white flag, and most importantly, prayed for us when we were in utter despair and hopelessness. So much love to all of you, and that's from the Kaylee Goncalves' family. I would be.
Goncalves.
What's that?
Goncalves.
Goncalves, thank you.
Goncalves. Okay, Goncalves. I apologize for mispronunciation. I would be livid with this plea deal out of Idaho. Livid. We have audio actually from that. Let's play this. This is from Steve Goncalves, her dad.
It's my daughter. It's our children. How can you say it's just when you haven't even talked to us to see what justice looks like for us? They told it it's not really about us. It's about their process. Just shut up and get on board and deal with it. That's really what they told us. Idaho's failed. They failed me. They failed my whole family.
That would be very tough to stomach for these parents. I mean, further insult to an unbelievable injury. I guess we'll find out more as they continue down this road.
It's pretty. We will find out more details, of course, as this moves forward. But it's pretty cut and dried. What the family wanted was the death penalty. I'm sure this wasn't the only family of the only family of the four.
We haven't heard from the other three of the other families.
But I imagine there were similar sentiments from those other families. But there's a reason that you don't let families have a say in the justice process, because families will want vengeance. Families will want, oftentimes.
Doesn't the public want vengeance? Wouldn't you want vengeance?
It doesn't matter what the public wants. What matters
want justice?
I do want, and I'm with you. I do. I'm with you that I'm a supporter of capital punishment, especially in a situation, and it shouldn't matter which case, but some cases scream for capital punishment, justice.
Yeah, I think this one certainly does.
But you don't include the families into this process because it needs to stick to the letter of the law and abide by what the state of Idaho decided was in the best interest of the state of Idaho. And I'm not agreeing with it or justifying it. But
why do you think that they made this decision?
I think they made a business decision. I think they made a business decision in that it's going to be a long, lengthy trial with the possibility of acquittal.
You think this is a dollar decision?
I think they knew that they could avoid, and they're saying they're trying to avoid dragging the family through the pain and re-traumatization of a very public trial.
Yeah, that's PR, but yeah.
There's some genuine sentiment in that. It does provide that, the sparing of that
The families don't want it. They want the justice. They want the death penalty.
I read that quote as well.
They also are saying, if what you're saying is correct, that these people are just trying so hard to consider these families, I think an email would have been better. I think a phone call than an email would have been better.
1,000 ways this was mishandled. Absolutely. But even so, if then you go to the family and you sit across the table from a family and say, this is what the state of Idaho deems is in the best interest of all the citizens of Idaho, not just the victims of the families and not just those who seek capital punishment justice for this killer.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
I don't agree with it either, but I can understand why they did what they did.
I can't understand it.
There are people who are opposed to capital punishment as a belief. Many of them are Idaho citizens who are opposed to capital punishment. And I'm not saying they won the day. The state made a decision to guarantee this guy will never see the light of day from a freedom perspective. He'll get to eat, sleep, breathe, have relationships. There are all the
He's going to
outrage.
Have people
all the outrage about this decision by the state.
Things like this.
I agree with and share the sentiment of the outrage of this. But you have to also factor into it. You don't get to let parents of victims decide what the punishment is. That's just not how the system works.
Well, I think the system failed these parents in this case. All right, let's move on. Further Idaho stories. We talked about this one a couple of days ago. We're learning a little bit more about that ambush that happened in Coeur d'Alene. So the suspected gunman was 20 years old, at least the person that they found who had taken his own life, according to law enforcement officials.
Seems pretty clear this was the guy. Now they're going to have to figure it out and nail down all the details.
I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to give him any more attention, and I don't want to encourage other people to seek attention through crazy things. So I'm not going to say his name in the story, but he's 20 years old. They are looking into motive now, and they said in this, let's see here, the chief of the local fire department there gave a briefing yesterday, and they said that according to them, he had apparently at some point looked into, or at least tried to apply to be a firefighter. He says, we don't know if there's a nexus to that desire and what happened yesterday. So motive's a very tough thing to figure out, especially when the person is now deceased. Correct. It's almost impossible to come up with.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would be able to surmise that, but it is interesting that he ends up, if it is true that he had designs on becoming a firefighter, because he was young. He was 20 years old.
20 years old, yeah.
See the pictures of this guy?
Yeah.
It's shocking how young he looks. When you think about the crime that this guy, he murdered two people in ambush.
He laid an ambush.
Set the fire.
Yeah.
If he did it. I mean, that still has to be proven out, but it looks like he did it. Set a fire, ambushed, killed two people, and he looks like a baby. I mean, he looks so young. When I look at a 20-year-old now, as somebody who's in his 40s, 41-year-old now, I look at a 20-year-old, I just go like, my goodness, your entire life is ahead of you. And whatever was going on in his life in the moment, and he decided to make this decision, clearly a very troubled young man.
You hate to say you always fall back to there's a mental health crisis in the country, and there's clearly a mental health breakdown in the case of this young individual. Is there a story that he had applied for, attempted to become a firefighter, was rejected by the process, and then there's now a story that his car, that firefighters had asked him to move move a vehicle of his, and that may have been the thing that set
him off. There's a lot of conflicting things that don't quite make sense yet. It's always interesting because there's this fervor, this rush to get information, and it's so tough to get. There's like 1,000 different sources.
Right.
We're all waiting for information, but at the very least, just a very, very sad story. We now have the names of the victims. I will say the names of the two victims, the firefighters who lost their lives. Frank Harwood, 42, he was a battalion chief with the Kootenai County Fire and Rescue Department, 17-year veteran, and Battalion Chief John Morris, who was 52 of the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department, and he had been with the department for more than 28 years. These guys were just up there assessing the area so they could figure out how to put out a brush fire.
We're trying to save lives and property. That's what they do as first responders in firefighting.
Yeah.
And this kid, who clearly snapped, had a mental breakdown and laid in wait, set a trap to take human life. And there's got to be other factors that led to his eventual state of mind.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we may never know
They're
what
going to
it
look
was.
they'll look into social media postings, which you've already seen. Those are tough to verify, though, but they've already seen a bunch of those pop up online. They're going to look into his parents, and they're going to look into everybody. It's all kind of guessing at this point. But we'll give you more information when we have it. All right, can we move on to one thing that's not so dark?
Please.
This is kind of exciting for everybody. Everybody's getting a raise. Today, everyone's getting July 1st, 2025. Everybody in Washington's getting a raise.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
Thank you. Do I go thank the boss?
No, on gas prices.
Oh, well. Well, thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
And I really can't throw this on Turd Ferguson.
No,
because this was.
Yeah, I guess voters approved of it.
Voters approved this.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. This is a self-inflicted wound.
Self-inflicted. Drivers will see an increase in state's gasoline tax by 6 cents per gallon. Jason Rance has a really good breakdown of all the areas, all the ways in which you're paying extra money in taxes in our state. You can read about it at mynorthwest.com. 6 cents per gallon extra today.
Which just in time for the holiday.
Annually, will then go up annually. I don't know if you remember that part.
Every year. Yes, I do remember that part. It's wonderful.
So the total state gas tax as it is right now, every time you buy gas, is 55.4 cents per gallon. That's for roads. That's for all sorts of different things that you might be paying for in your gallon of gas.
Yeah, whatever they decide to spend it on. And can't they just move that stuff around?
Whatever
right?
they
When
decide.
they've decided they can just spend the money how they see fit.
Listen to this, though. Do you know what the national average is today, according to AAA?
Is it under 3?
It's near 3.
Okay.
It keeps falling nationwide.
It does, yeah.
It is $3.17 a gallon.
Not here.
Nationally.
Not here.
We've gone up a little bit. $4.42 a gallon. Lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun. We actually have some pictures. I came up with some pictures because I was bored while I was making my lunch. I was heating my cup of noodles, my lunch of champions. And because the internet's such an easy thing, I came up with a few road signs just to warn people as you come into our state.
Really?
I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to play these for you.
Okay.
And if you're
Beautiful.
watching live on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com. You can go search KIRO 97.3 FM. Also, and then the Jake and Spike live show will pop up there. That's an option. Click on that. Or if you go to mynorthwest.com, I think there's a link there as well where you can watch us live. But we're going to go through these, and you tell me what you think of these, Spike.
Sure.
If these are going to be adopted as new slogans, because I do feel like as people who live in Washington State, that's always the caveat when you're talking to somebody. You go, but it's really expensive in Washington State. Or like I was talking with somebody this morning about gas prices.
Yeah.
And we were saying like, hey, isn't it amazing that gas prices have gone down for the lowest in 4 years, except in our state. Yeah. And it's just like one of those things you want people to know, especially as they're thinking about travel. A lot of people are going to come in here go to Washington beaches to travel for the 4th of July.
Sure, yeah, that's right.
Chris
Beautiful
Sullivan's
weekend.
actually going to join us next to talk about it because there's a lot of dangers in going to the beach for 4th
For
of
the
July.
4th, yeah. It's going to be a free-for-all.
I was unaware of these, but Chris Sullivan has all these. But let's look at a few of these, Spike, and see what you think of these.
Sure.
This first one is Welcome to Washington State. Now give me your wallet. There's
Is
a
that
picture.
Governor Bob?
That's Governor Bob.
Okay.
That's Turd Ferguson right there.
He
in the
is, right there
bottom
on the
left.
sign. Look at you.
It's a nice
Where's
one.
this? That's right at the border, huh?
That's right at the border.
That's awful nice.
This would either be in Idaho or we'd also put it in. We'd also put it just above, probably right now where the new In-N-Out's going to go. Just so
down there,
people know.
down at the Oregon border.
Down
yeah,
there at
yeah,
the
yeah.
Oregon
You bet.
border,
As you
maybe
come across the bridge. Yeah, I like
that'd be
this.
nice.
You can put one. You have to put it at every entrance. Tri-Cities everywhere. Yeah.
Do you put one up there next to Canada?
Sure.
I think you should.
Yeah, because they could always choose to come in through, Idaho, Montana, somewhere over there, but they come in here.
This one is I got a fever, and the only prescription is more of your money. Again, Bob Ferguson.
You make these yourself? These are great. You got a
It's
real
amazing.
skill.
You just tell AI what you want.
Okay. Oh, that's great. I thought you actually took these and went out the freeway, posted them in the ground, and took pictures.
Governor Fergie, hungy for your money.
Okay.
Do you have any more?
I see a theme.
Oh, boy, that was not appropriate.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome, Washington. Cash your charge.
That's all.
I like that one.
No,
it's simple.
Can I give you an upgrade on that one? Because we can work together. Should workshop this?
Please.
Put a QR code on there.
Oh,
so
that's
that
perfect.
You can just scan it and drive by, and just they can take the money without you. Make it easy as peasy for you, right?
Just make it simple.
Scan the QR code on your way in. We'll tax you as you drive.
I like it.
Right?
I like it.
I know Bob will like it. He loves the fastest way to your wallet.
Bob loves it.
Yep.
Fergie loves it. Is that the last one, Laura? That might be the last one.
We've suffered enough. That's horrible.
Those are horrible. Yeah.
But look how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
That's why we're taxing you with an inch of your life.
Because
to keep it green, keep it clean.
Enjoy the beautiful views.
Yeah.
And watch beautiful places.
The sweeping vistas.
It can be.
Yeah.
All right. We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. Chris Sullivan joins us next. I was unaware of this, but there's apparently a culture of being out of Washington's coastline on the beaches.
Yeah, sure.
In Long Beach, Ocean Shores. And because of this weather that we're having, which is fantastic, it gets crazy out there to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people. This actually sounds like a party.
It's a perfect storm of the 4th of July holiday falling on a weekend.
Yeah.
The weather cooperating, and it being one of the places in America where you can do it's an amazing thing you can't do anywhere but here and a very few other places.
We'll tell you about it next.
And it could be dangerous.
Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino.
A Pacific Northwest community searching for answers.
Tragedy in northern Idaho.
Unbelievable. You just don't expect somebody to do that to a firefighter.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is there.
Those firefighters, they arrived here to put out a fire started by the suspect. They had no idea where those bullets were coming from.
Stay with KIRO News Radio for the latest from the local voices you trust.
Attacks on first responders is sick.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the #1 thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at King's.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Call for details.
Dayandnight.net.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
President Trump reacting to the Senate passing his budget. The vote was tied 50-50. Vice President J.D. Vance delivering the winning vote. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns on what's in Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
Extending the Trump tax cuts, the ones that were originally passed in 2017, extending those. Creating new tax cuts. No federal tax on tips. No federal tax on overtime pay. Also increasing money for immigration enforcement, another key priority from the president.
Critics say the budget reduces Medicaid and SNAP food support and raises the national debt. The bill now goes back to the House for reconciliation. Earlier, the president visited a new immigrant detention center in Florida's Everglades.
It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon.
Yeah, that word again, Everglades. A former Washington State University graduate student is expected to plead guilty tomorrow to the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Now, the family of one of them, Kaylee Gonsalves, is furious. Kaylee's dad told News Nation the only justice would be the death penalty.
Justice is when you leave the planet and the whole world is able to
rejoice and be glad that you are not there.
A procession is underway honoring the 2 firefighters who were fatally shot as they responded to a wildfire in northern Idaho Sunday. The bodies of Frank Harwood and John Morrison are being carried from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office to a funeral chapel in Coeur d'Alene. A third firefighter remains in critical but stable condition. Investigators say the suspect killed himself at the scene. Investigators are working to determine what sparked a fire that damaged a church in Auburn this week. More from KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn.
The pain of the loss at All Saints Lutheran Church was evident in the hours after flames ravaged the building. Laura Hughes lives across Military Road in sight of the church.
There's like 12 different groups that meet there.
South King Fire says initial reports were of a pretty minor fire.
The first 2 crews arrived on scene to discover a trailer behind a church that was actually fully involved.
Captain Brad Cheney says it was immediately upgraded to a working commercial fire to bring in more resources.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 443 points, NASDAQ down 148. From the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk near the Tacoma Dome, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound. You are backed up to Costco. In Seattle's University District, a disabled semi is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at Northeast 45th Street. Travel time Linwood to Seattle running about 10 minutes longer than typical. And in Parkland, crews still at it trying to clear a logging truck that rolled over and spilled its load onto State Route 512 west of Canyon Road. Traffic is getting by slowly on the shoulder. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs around 80. It's 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. As we get closer to 4th of July, there's information that you all need to have. Could be life-saving, actually. Chris Sullivan joins us now. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
All right, you have a very interesting article. Everybody should read it, just because they're always fun anyway, or at least informative, on mynorthwest.com. And this is about folks who are going to go and enjoy the wonderful celebration of our nation's birth out on the coast.
Yes.
What's happening out there?
Well, whenever we get a weekend 4th of July where the fireworks are, so if the 4th is like a Friday, Saturday, it always ends up attracting a bunch of people to the coast. Last time it was there was about 100,000 people who showed up at the Long Beach Peninsula. They were expecting similar numbers this year. Ocean Shores said they couldn't even begin to count how many people they're expecting. They can't even estimate. And so while that's good, and it's great for the economy down there and everything, there are a bunch of people who I know are going to be heading to the coast who have never been to the Washington coast before. And what's one of the great things you can do at the Washington coast you can't do most other places?
I know exactly what it is.
Drive
on the beach.
Drive on the beach.
And as an East Coaster
yeah.
who never, ever, I mean, they do it in Florida, but I don't go to Florida. I never got to drive on a beach till I moved here. But it is not for the uninitiated.
No, and that's the thing. And that's why I want to remind everybody, again, I'm not trying to be Captain Bring Down. I have some tips because I've been going to this Long Beach for my entire life. I started driving there when I was like 11, with Dad, because there just weren't any people down there. But this weekend, this is not the time to try your first time.
This is not the time to teach your 11-year-old to drive on the beach?
No, this is not the time because there are going to be so many people on the beach. And if you've never driven on the beach, you have to understand that people who go to the beach are entirely clueless about what's happening around them. They forget that the beach is a state highway.
They're also drunk.
Well, there's that.
Yep.
Kids and dogs run off without even a notice and across the road. Even though I know it's sand, but they run everywhere. They're really unpredictable. Plus, there are a bunch of people going everywhere, a bunch of people who have never driven in the sand before, so they're unpredictable. So there are a lot of variables here that you're not going to find if you drive on the beach in May, on a random weekend in May where you learn and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd go over some of the things. Okay, you're going to go drive on the beach? Great. So what do? Well, you get to the approach, you kind of pick where you want to go, and you just kind of follow that line. You go keep the speed up, but don't go super fast. And just kind of trust yourself and go. If you start, don't lose. If you lose momentum, you're done. And also, this one of the biggest things I found out lately. I'm always surprised how many SUV drivers are stuck down there because they don't know what they're doing. Just because you have all-wheel or four-wheel drive doesn't mean you can drive in the sand because your car will figure it out. Get rid of your traction control. Turn that off immediately. because it'll try to stop you
yeah.
when you start losing it. You want all control to all wheels in your hand.
If you can lock them in, lock them in.
Yeah, but I mean, the traction control stuff that we have, all the great technology, is a detriment to you on the beach. Also, if you have a two-wheel drive car, I wouldn't recommend it because there are going to be so many people down there that the approaches are going to be so churned up that the ruts are going to be about 10 inches deep. You might lose clearance is what I'm getting at. You might bottom out on your car, much less not necessarily get stuck, but get bottomed out in the ruts because you don't have the clearance.
That's possible.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, because I've driven cars.
You can if the approach is nice and flat. Like at Ocean Shores, they may be better than they are at Long Beach. We've been to both recently.
Yeah.
Long Beach can be 200 yards of 10-inch deep ruts.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. And if you're driving an RV, no. Or if you're towing a trailer, no.
No RVs?
No, I talked to a guy who's
like I said, it's not May. This is the 4th of July weekend.
With everybody there.
Okay, question for you.
Yeah.
What if you just take your RV down there early? Let's say you get there on the Thursday the 3rd.
Okay.
The weather's supposed to be lovely.
Right.
You get over there, you park, you secure your spot, and you don't plan on going anywhere until the 5th.
That's illegal.
Oh, because you can't stay
cannot
overnight.
camp on the beach.
Yeah, there you go. That's
correct.
The
So
catch.
that kind of prevents it. And so,
all right, I don't recommend it.
And I was talking to, there's a guy who's a longtime listener to KIRO Radio. You probably see him on the text line as Clipson Paul. Clipson's down on the Long Beach Peninsula. He works with a group that's like 4x4 rescue group. All they do all summer long is just go pull people out of the sand for free. They don't take any money. They don't do anything. If you get in trouble, all their information's at mynorthwest.com. And he said, in the last couple of weeks, we've been pulling RVs off the beach like crazy. People who are just, and here's the thing that's really interesting about this weekend that isn't totally unique, but high tide is between 9 and 10 o'clock, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What happens between 9 and 10 o'clock at the beach over the 4th of July?
It's prime
Everyone is firing
time.
off their fireworks. Everybody's got their bonfires up. That's getting dark. The tide is going to come in on you, and you are not going to expect it. It's going to come in higher than you expect because it's a high tide. Later in the day, they get a little higher. And so we have seen it over the years where you're there doing your thing, and then next thing you know, the car that's 4 cars up from you, who's a little further towards the water than you, is in soft sand now, and the water's lapping at its tires. And you're like, oh, no, what do I do now? And now you're done.
So what is your advice if somebody does get caught out there? What do you do?
Well, the first thing you do is, one, don't get caught like that. Back up as far into the sand as you can. Always point your nose at the water with your car.
Oh, your car nose, sure.
Yeah, so you can always see what's coming at you. But then when you're done, here's the biggest thing is it's like the Indy 500 at the end of the fireworks. Everyone tries to get off the beach at the same time, right? And so what you have the ocean is in a little further than you think. People are drunk. There are fires that are just left unattended. You wouldn't believe the amount of irresponsibility that happens down there. People leave fires, they leave debris piles, they leave their pit toilets uncovered so you can drive into or walk into, and it's like chaos down there from like 10:45 to 11:30, and that's not the time you want to get stuck. It can be really dangerous. So just warning everybody that it's not as super duper fun without a bunch of responsibility and accountability on yourself.
Can I counter you with one point?
Please.
It also sounds like kind of a good time.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It's amazing as long as you're responsible.
Sounds amazing. I mean, like
it's real.
Sounds like freedom to me, Sully.
Well, it does. I mean, it's amazing. I just want everybody to come back.
Poor choices.
Right, I want everybody to come back. Believe me, it's a blast.
Yeah,
but
we make jokes, but there have been instances in previous years where people get caught in the surf and cars are lost. People have died.
Yeah, people have died. I've been at the beach in Long Beach where at least 2 people have died nearby.
What? What happened? Caught in the water?
Caught in the water. And here's another thing that happens that people don't understand about the Washington coast if they've never been there, is that the water looks flat for miles. Right? You feel like you're walking out on a beach in California or on the East Coast. You could just walk out and walk out. Well, here there are tidal pools and crab pools that you can't see right off the surf. And so you can go from just under knee level to chest level like that if you fall in a hole, and you're done. Especially at night, the water's still cold. No one will see you. And it's very dangerous. There was a 17-year-old kid, two cars down from us, went out swimming about 9:30. About a half hour later, no one realized where he was.
Oh my gosh.
They never found him. So yeah, it's just, you got to be smart.
There is. And the thing about the holiday weekend, as you mentioned, is going to be an insane amount of people. More people than this space really can handle.
Yeah, the population in Long Beach is 10,000.
Yeah. And you're talking about 100,000 people showing up. They don't even know how much Ocean Shores is going to hold.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you can't count on, the tide's coming, I better leave now, because everybody's trying to leave now.
Correct.
And if you get caught, first off, the rescue crew, the volunteer rescue crew, they won't pull cars out of the surf.
Yeah.
You got to call a tow truck. And trust me, you're not the only guy dialing the tow truck number.
And you're going to pay some prices, too.
Don't wait till the last minute. Keep aware of your surroundings. Think ahead. Leave a few minutes early. Leave a half hour early. You can still see the fireworks as you're making your way to safety.
But if you are doing it safely, though, it is so
it's a blast.
much fun.
Yeah, don't get,
100,000 people can't be wrong.
No, but here's the other thing. Pack a little shovel. Throw a couple of pieces of flat wood in there to help try to maybe get yourself out.
If you got a couple planks,
and be careful of the guy who just shows up and goes, I'll get you, $20, whatever. I don't care, but just throws a chain under your undercarriage.
Oh,
you don't know what he's grabbing. I mean, you might lose your bumper. You might, just be careful. That comes with risks, though. Probably better than your car ending up in the surf. But just be prepared. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Designated drivers, somebody who's got experience down there. But you're right, it is a blast. Don't get me wrong. Don't not go, but just be smart.
Go smart
and be prepared and understand there's a lot that kind of goes into just driving on the beach. With that many people and the risks that are there and whatnot. So just be safe.
Be safe.
Yeah,
but
have
it's
a great
awesome.
time, but be safe.
Smart fun.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Sullivan, thanks for coming in. Appreciate all the warnings, but go out there and have fun, folks.
Yeah. You can still shoot fireworks off into the ocean. That's good. Aim them towards the ocean, not the dunes. I can't believe I have to say that, but good advice.
Chris Sullivan has good advice. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, folks, Spike O'Neill for Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. I got to tell you, it's been about 7 months now since I had my refractive lens exchange performed at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp and his team had me in for a comprehensive eye exam, told me that not only was my vision getting weaker, failing over the years, but I had the beginning of cataract, and I was a perfect candidate for RLE surgery. So I had a bunch of questions, which they answered, of course, and they put me completely at ease, and I had the same care team from start to finish. And after an easy one-sitting procedure, a couple hours in and out the door, a couple weeks of recovery time, I now have the best vision of my life. They haven't just restored my 20/20 vision. They give me 20/10 vision. I have the best vision of my life. I will never need readers again, and I will never develop cataract. It's been the best decision I've ever made regarding my vision, and maybe overall. If it's time for you to take a look at what the folks at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens can do for you, give them a call at 425-451-2020. That's 425-451-2020, or online, sharp-vision.com, sharp with an e-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
Concur Technologies seeks developer at their Bellevue, Washington location to be responsible for development focusing on design, coding, testing, and quality assurance of specific SAP product features in a development team. Analyze and solve issues in existing and new code. Demonstrate responsibility for tasks and high level of quality, speed, reliability, and efficiency. Hybrid work model. Base salary is between $132,330 and $166,500. Health insurance, insurance, 401k, and other benefits located at sapnorthamericabenefits.com. Total compensation of base salary plus incentives is between $132,330 and $185,000. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427954. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427954. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427954.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Join us at Life in Color, a brunch auction and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon celebrating 25 years of hope and support. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only. Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only. Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
When the heat's an 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Now save $50 off our pre-summer AC tune-up.
Dayandnight.net.
All right, welcome back to the show. Very interesting story here. Very, very interesting. Because it's kind of at the intersection of 2 things that one I find very important and I love, and another one that Spike loves. I love Costco. You wear a lot of yoga pants.
I found in my life that 2 things will tell you the truth. 5-year-olds and yoga pants.
Yeah.
They will not lie to you.
That's
neither group.
That's absolutely true.
Right? Am I right?
You're totally right.
There's a lawsuit coming Costco's way from maybe is the industry leader a safe thing to say about Lululemon?
Ask Laura. I don't know.
Yes. Are they the end all be all of workout pants that they profess to be in this lawsuit?
And they have been since I was 14. Like there's no other pant that reaches the height.
3 years now they've been top of their game, right? Yeah. No, they've been for a long time. It's Lululemon.
Here's what they're doing. They're suing Costco because they say that the retailer is selling confusingly similar replicas of its jackets, sweatshirts, and pants. So they filed this lawsuit just on Friday, a couple days ago in U.S. District Court, claiming that Costco products imitate their own designs and constitute trade dress infringement, which means that they're mimicking Lululemon's designs, which is what they claim.
Yeah, mimicking their industry-leading construction, path-breaking construction.
Yeah,
constructional techniques,
tight pants,
strategic fits,
unbelievable
strategic fits.
This is from CBS News. Listen to this. The apparel company claims that Costco's knockoff designs or product dupes, quote dupes. Can you say dupes in a legal filing?
Sure,
violate trademark law because some customers incorrectly believe these infringing products are authentic Lululemon apparel. In other cases, quote, customers specifically purchase the infringing products because they are difficult to distinguish from authentic Lululemon products, the lawsuit alleges. So here's my question to you. Lululemon does not sell anything from Costco. They don't sell any. Costco.
There's no Lululemon.
There's no
products.
Lululemon in Costco.
Right, okay.
So Costco has a brand that they do sell in Costco of like yoga pants, like tight pants and sweatshirts.
Okay.
That might bear some resemblance to Lululemon's yoga pants. But if you asked me, honestly, you line up 10 people. I won't say if women because I'm married, so I'm not going to stare at women in yoga pants. But like 10 spikes wearing yoga pants of different makes. I couldn't tell you which is which. Does that mean that every one of them is open to a lawsuit from Lululemon?
Well, I think that does kind of prove Lululemon's point in so much that they're so close in design that they can't tell the difference.
All yoga pants are close in design. They all look like they're tight pants.
They're tight pants, but apparently they claim that they have, construction techniques that are uniquely theirs that have been borne out over years of research and product development, and they're trying to preserve their brand, saying that Costco's selling these knockoff dupes.
But Costco's just selling yoga pants.
I'm with you.
So I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing. I actually just pulled up the Costco website to see what's for sale right now. Because you say Costco dupe, I say, how fast can I buy it before they pull this from stores?
What's available?
Here's what's available. You guys know the Lululemon Align jacket?
Oh, it's the last season's best product.
Okay, so it's this jacket that like snatches your waist. It's got like kind of a ribbed lining around the outside of it that's supposed to make you look like really skinny and cute.
Is it like Spanx, but a jacket?
Yeah, basically.
I
think Spanx has a lot. Sounds like Spanx has a lawsuit on
their
hands.
This is this jacket practically on Costco's site for $20 instead of $75. And I truly I'm looking at it like this. They've got the lining, like the little shape. You can see how it kind of gives you like that hourglass
This is not
situation.
I'm just confused at how a lawsuit like this moves forward. This is not something that every single business that you go into. You can go into Walmart. You can go into. Is Kmart still a thing?
They're still out there somewhere. Kresge Brands, Kmart. Yeah.
You go into any of these places, and there's going to be knockoff looking things.
Right, similar, just different enough to beat the copyright infringement. Yeah.
Amazon's entire business model is basically this.
Amazon will find what you make it better, cheaper, and sell it cheaper.
It may not be made better, but they will certainly be made sold cheaper.
Yeah.
And
they take your product and they make it themselves.
Lululemon is selling these things. I saw the prices of these things. What was their jacket, like $128?
Yeah, and Laura can get each of us one of those for half that.
I wish I'd seen this before I paid full price for the Lululemon.
You got the Lululemon one?
Yeah, I did.
How much was it? You said 70-something?
It's 70-something, yeah.
70-something bucks.
Well, according to this story, there's like so many different products. The Danskin Ladies half-zip hoodie, the Danskin half-zip pullover, the Jockey brand, the Spider brand. I get when Kirkland makes a yoga pant. I get it that Costco's making that yoga pant. Are all these other products that Costco is selling, are they all infringing on Lululemon's design, breakthrough technology, industry-leading technology?
Lululemon has their way. It sounds like it. If they can successfully sue Costco, who else are they going to sue for yoga pants?
Part of the infringement is you have to prove that people were confused. I thought I was buying Lululemon.
Does it say Lululemon on it? No, then you're not buying a Lululemon.
Right? How stupid do you think people are?
Just give me my $1.50 hot dog.
Oh, by the way, my father invented that, and we're suing.
Are you?
As is my grandmother, Costco muffins are eerily like my grandmother's muffins.
If he did invent the $1.50 hot dog, then he deserves his money. Good job, sir. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Luke is going to join us. He's got more on the Moscow, Idaho reactions to the Kohberger plea deal, and so much more. We're talking about Boom City. When do you take your kids to Boom City? That's a great question. So we'll chat about it next. Stick around.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/radio. That's leaffilter.com/radio.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO Newsradio.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living, and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, and your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Make your first lawn move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. Hedge trimmers, mowers, string trimmers, and more. Shop in-store or online at steeldealers.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Republicans got the job done, passing President Trump's massive tax and spending bill. Vice President J.D. Vance broke a 50-50 tie for the Republicans. President Trump afterwards.
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone, and I think it's going to go very nicely in the House.
3 Republicans joined all Democrats in voting against the bill.
Senate Republicans betrayed the American people and covered this chamber in shame.
Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer.
Today's vote will haunt our Republican colleagues for years to come as the American people see the damage that is done, as hospitals close, as people are laid off, as costs go up.
Political analyst Larry Sabato.
They had absolutely no choice, the Republicans in the Senate, but to pass this. It's their entire party agenda in one bill. It is Donald Trump's entire agenda in one bill.
Hundreds of EPA employees are accusing the Trump administration of endangering public health. Christopher Cruz reports.
The 4-page letter's top complaint is that decisions are being driven by politics, not science and the law. It says the administration is undermining the agency's mission of protecting human health and the environment. Of the 278 employees who wrote the letter, 173 signed their names. 105 signed anonymously because they feared retaliation. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
Accused killer Brian Kohberger has agreed to plead guilty to the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. He's accused of stabbing them in their house near campus 3 years ago. Legal contributor Caroline Polisi on the aim of prosecutors.
They're getting a conviction right away. They're getting the absolute guarantee of life behind bars without the possibility of parole.
The family of at least one of the murdered students says they are beyond furious. Car makers are ending the first half of the year on a high note, but still concerned about tariffs, as Jeff Gilbert reports.
GM sales rose 12% in the half, Ford sales up 7%. It was also a record half for all 3 Korean brands. Hyundai North America CEO Randy Parker says they can deal with expected headwinds in the second half.
We haven't made any pricing changes as a result of tariffs. But let me just say that, our philosophy at this point in time is to maintain flexibility.
Another second half variable for car makers, high interest rates. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
On Wall Street, stocks have been mixed all day. The Dow Jones Industrials are up 400 points. The S&P 500 is flat. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You will hear from that father who's angry the accused University of Idaho killer has made a plea deal. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk, near the Tacoma Dome, the crash has been cleared from I-5 southbound and your backup is gone. In Seattle's University District, the disabled semi has been removed from I-5 southbound at Northeast 45th Street. Your Linwood to Seattle drive still about 10 minutes longer than typical. In Parkland, crews have finally removed the logging truck and all the logs that spilled onto State Route 512 near Canyon Road. You are clear and the backup there is gone. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch.
This is anything but justice. This is the opposite of our will.
The father of Kaylee Gonsalves, one of 4 murdered University of Idaho students, he tells News Nation he is furious Brian Kohberger is set to plead guilty in the case to avoid the death penalty. More from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
A small memorial with candles now sits in front of the murder scene. The house Kohberger entered, where he killed 4 students, according to prosecutors, was demolished a year later. People in this college town were hoping for the death penalty.
I feel like he should have gotten the death penalty. So, I feel like that's really frustrating.
Kohberger is expected to enter his guilty plea Wednesday in court. Prosecutors say he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. In Moscow, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A North Idaho community pays tribute to 2 firefighters fatally shot Sunday.
Fire Battalion Chiefs Frank Harwood and John Morrison are described as devoted fathers, husbands, and public servants. They were ambushed and killed while responding to a brush fire Sunday. Coeur d'Alene residents gathered by the thousands Tuesday to pay tribute to the fallen firemen. Here's resident Marianne Bornhoft.
I saw every single overpass. There were thousands of people lining the freeway with flags. This is the most impactful thing of my life.
Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.
Detectives say the suspect killed himself at the scene. No motive for the crime. The Washington State Hospital Association says President Trump's budget that just passed the U.S. Senate will be a disaster for hospitals and patients. Cassie Sauer says the legislation makes massive cuts to Medicaid, which will lead to layoffs of doctors and nurses and hospital closures, particularly in rural areas. The bill heads back to the House, where Sauer is urging representatives to reject it. Frontline medical workers walk off the job at Multicare in Parkland. Emergency department employees are frustrated over contract talks, and they're claiming labor violations, as KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha explains.
The strike was seen as a last resort, and the workers say having it go into a holiday where emergency calls add up wasn't planned.
The care isn't going to be there, which is very disheartening.
Staffing has also been an issue for these workers since the union says the staff levels dwindled from 120 to about 75 workers.
Multicare says it is negotiating in good faith, and it does not anticipate any disruption to patient care. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 80. It's 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO Newsradio.
Welcome back to the show. Tons of stuff to get to. So much to do. So little time. Right now, we are very happy to welcome Luke Ducey, who joins us. He has been in Moscow. He's been all over Idaho. He was in Coeur d'Alene yesterday for the last 2 days, covering that horrible ambush. And then he was moved his way on over to Moscow, Idaho, with to get reactions on this Bryan Kohberger plea deal that just happened. Luke, welcome back to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, yesterday up in Coeur d'Alene, and I got the news yesterday afternoon that this plea deal was in place for Kohberger, and zipped down to Moscow early this morning. I think I left Coeur d'Alene around 3 this morning to get down there to check out the scene. Went right to the murder scene there in Moscow this morning. I was looking at the spot where prosecutors say Bryan Kohberger walked into that house there at the University of Idaho and killed those 4 students back in 2022. The house was demolished the next year, but there's a makeshift memorial there. There are candles, stuffed animals, there are notes that were left behind for the victims. And it's obvious that over the years and months and even in the last weeks, people are bringing, new items to that memorial. But I got to tell you, I've covered a lot of stories like this, of course, over the years, and it was a really weird feeling being there. It's just, it felt off. It felt almost evil, kind of dark, really powerful scene.
There are places like that you go to, where you cannot escape the horrors that have happened there, even if you're far removed from it. This has been years now. The family of one of the victims, Kaylee Gonsalves, was on the Today Show. I'm going to play this clip from you. I don't know if you've heard this yet, Luke, but this was the father. This is Steve Gonsalves, Kaylee's dad. She was one of the 4 students who were murdered, and they tell kind of a crazy story about how the prosecution team had a conversation with them Friday, mentioning the possibility that they were discussing a plea deal, but not saying in specific terms that, this is the path that we're choosing. And then 48 hours later, they get an email saying, it's a plea deal, and we're just letting you know. That's a big thing for these families to try to adjust to when they're waiting for a trial. They've been waiting years now for a trial to start, which was supposed to start in August, but this is Steve Gonsalves talking to NBC just this morning.
It's my daughter. It's our children. How can you say it's just when you haven't even talked to us to see what justice looks like for us? They told it it's not really about us. It's about their process. Just shut up and get on board and deal with it. That's really what they told us. Idaho's failed. They failed me. They failed my whole family.
What kind of reaction have you been getting from the community around there?
Yeah, similar reaction. And I rolled in, the first thing I did was find, where can I find people to start talking with them? And I found like this market that was open 24/7, and pulled in the parking lot. There were people there. So think about this. The information came out last night. I was there early this morning, and everyone knew about it. It wasn't news anymore. Everyone in town seemed to have known about this already, and their reaction, everyone I talked to at least, was like hopefully we can heal at this point, but also kind of angry, just people from the town. It shocked them too, and they want the death penalty. Part of this plea deal is that Kohberger avoids the death penalty, and prosecutors are saying that what this plea deal does is it ensures a conviction, right? And that Kohberger will spend the rest of his days in prison without the possibility of parole. But yeah, I think the people in town, for what I heard, echo that response from that father. They're angry.
Luke, I know that Idaho has capital punishment, but they haven't executed anyone since 2012. I think part of and I'm only speculating because I wasn't inside any negotiations, but I have to understand, at least try to understand, Idaho's point of view here in their decision, in that this does guarantee the conviction that the man will never see the light of day. And if say he was found guilty and sentenced to capital punishment in Idaho, then that's going to be going to court again because Idaho allows for a firing squad. as a lethal means of execution. That's been in and out of the courts still to this day about whether or not that violates the Eighth Amendment of cruel and unusual punishment. A lot of people feel that lethal injection, the other option, is a violation of the Eighth Amendment. So this is going to be this talking about a long, drawn-out process. And I know the families in the community doesn't get what they sought, which was what they're deemed to be justice. But I can almost understand where Idaho went with this decision to at least have a permanent resolution to this. I think we may have lost, from the lack of diminished wind coverage, we may have lost
Did we lose
signal.
Luke there? Luke, you still there? We'll try to get him back on here. But the thing that...
I agree with you that I, as a father, I want this guy to suffer horribly. That's why I'm not allowed to be involved in the process of what the punishment should be for this guy.
Honestly, I don't even need him to suffer horribly. I don't need the family to be in a room and watch this guy poked with hot sticks or anything,
right?
Which is not on the table.
No, I hear you.
But he doesn't need to be alive anymore. You know what I mean? Every single day that he is alive and he's able to read a book or he's able to
that re-injures the family,
have
that
some sort of
re-traumatizes.
Luke's back with us.
Okay.
We're just talking, Luke, about what the family might be thinking right now.
Yeah. Let me tell you what happened real fast. I'm coming home and I'm in Richville where it's like 100 degrees and I had the phone on the hood and it overheated. So I switched to another phone. Jesus, it's hot out here, I tell you. So I'm kind of hanging in the car for a little bit. But yeah, family reaction to your point, Spike, as well. I think that, that whole appeals process, if someone is convicted or sentenced to death, that tends to be more expensive and drawn out for the state and taking up resources as well. And there are different points of view. For instance, one family, the Mogans, their daughter Madison was killed. One of those 4 who were killed. They kind of welcomed the deal, and they said so they can move on. This is their chance to say, okay, this is over. We don't have to go through this again and go through appeals process and have his name come up all the time and have to come back to court. And in all of this as well, I'd like to kind of say this if I can. It's important to remember the victims, these students, these kids. They were just kids. One of those kids was from Skagit County, Ethan Chapin. He was the oldest of 3 triplets. That family lost their son and brother as well. And Ethan's sister that night of his murder, she got a rare text from him, something that he would never says usually. And his last words to her were, "I love you." That's the memory that she will take away from his murder. And so hopefully, whether I don't know where these families, they're mixed reactions, of course, but hopefully they can find some peace and closure in all this at some point in time.
It's very well said, and obviously what every one of these families is going to seek out, and they're going to obviously try to get as much closure as you can. You can never get closure from losing a child, but you can try to move on as best you can. I understand what you're saying, Spike, and I know you don't agree with the state in this case, but I understand what you're saying about trying to understand from the state's perspective why they might be doing this. It does guarantee that the guy gets locked up forever.
Yeah, imagine a jury trial that ends in acquittal. You never know what can happen when you leave in the hand of 12 peers. How would these families, I'm not trying to, play for the state here, but how would these families feel if this trial ended in a mistrial or acquittal or whatever it may have happened?
Yeah, obviously that'd be worse than him being locked up for life. But I can certainly understand the families being upset about this.
Yeah.
Luke, we really appreciate your time, man, and safe travels, and get out of that heat as fast as possible.
Hydrate.
I am, and there are no easy answers in any of this. But thanks so much. Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you back at the ranch.
Thanks, man.
Buddy. Safe travels, my friend.
What do you think about capital punishment? In this case, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm not like a person who's saying like, oh, I want everybody who does the. No, I'm not an executioner, obviously.
No,
but this was a violent, horrible thing that this guy did. And I think there should be a price for that. And I don't think the price should be this guy gets to check books out once a week in a state penitentiary for the rest of his life and grow old and gain weight and lose weight and do all the things that people do during life, make friendships. The other thing to think about, too, is I don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like for him in the
prison?
Federal penitentiary system.
Could be worse than death.
There are jailhouse justice cases that happen, and you never know.
Absolutely true.
And so how are they going to have to keep this guy in a isolated area because he's at danger, and now you're protecting this guy?
At even greater costs. The average, I looked it up, the average cost per year to house someone for life without possible parole is $36,000 a year in the state of Idaho. And that's if they don't have to put him in special situations where his safety is threatened in jail, as it most likely will be, to your point.
Yeah.
With regard to capital punishment, I'm a firm believer in it. But I also see so many cases where people were wrongly convicted and the Innocence Project was unclosed or discovered new information, new technologies.
This is not one of those cases.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
This isn't. That was my argument against capital punishment in general.
Okay.
There are too many cases where people were wrongly convicted. And new technology reveals that they were then released and gained their freedom after maybe sometimes decades of incarceration. This isn't one of those cases. And this is one of those cases where just horrific, egregious circumstances surrounding this crime warrant capital punishment, in my mind anyway, and in the state of Idaho's mind. So that's why it was on the table.
I totally agree. And not just for the family, but for the community members,
yes.
like Luke was just talking to.
Yes. They want to feel. They want to know that they're a safe community.
Yeah, when
it's a shot of my chin.
When something violent happens in your community like that, it changes the DNA of the place where you live.
Yes, absolutely.
Forever.
Yep.
And they're all still reeling from that, and they want to move on from that, and they're entitled to have their feelings about the death penalty in this case. And I wonder,
absolutely, they
I wonder if the prosecution is going around asking questions, telling people what they're looking for, getting evidence, all these different things. It's all under the guise, I would assume, because the family seemed to think it was. Everybody seemed to think they're seeking the death penalty in this case.
Yeah.
And so if you're selling that the entire time, only to just at the very last minute, you got a month you've been waiting years for this trial that's delayed, and then a month before the trial is supposed to start, you have a plea deal, and he just gets to go and move in somewhere now and just chill out and settle into his new life.
Yeah. Well,
as your family members, your community members are no longer ever going to come back, and that was stolen from them that night in November. I'm very upset about it.
I hear, and with every right to be so. And you're as a parent.
Yes.
I think every parent feels part of that community that had their child taken from them. There's a connection we can all feel to that story. I said earlier,
It
in
doesn't
the
feel
show,
like justice.
Well, I said earlier in the show that this could have been a business decision by the state of Idaho. The appeals process, especially with regard to capital punishment and an execution sentence, is going to be long and drawn out and very expensive.
There are some things, though, that are worth the money.
I'm with you there.
This would be something that I would be.
Just trying to figure out how Idaho came to the decision to take this guy and offer him life in prison without parole.
I think they dropped the ball. I think that's how they came to the decision. They made a mistake and they dropped the ball. But I'm not a prosecutor in Idaho, and I'm not privy to everything that they were, so who knows? All right, can we move on to something a little bit brighter?
Sure, absolutely.
Can we talk about Cal Raleigh, who finally, after a 6-game, we actually were kind of worried about this. We were talking about this incredible home run streak that he's been on.
Yeah, it's national news. It's
He's leading the Major League
the
Major League in home runs.
Yep. Setting records for catchers, setting records for the Mariners.
Setting records here is, and then for like 6 games, he was averaging like one every couple of games, and then for 6 games, no home runs, and we're getting closer and closer to that All-Star break where they're like he's trying to get to the number, to be the leader, and so this is on the Mariners radio. This is 710 Sports. This is Cal Raleigh hitting his 33rd home run.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on a drive, center field, Isbell back, he's at the track, he's looking up, makes a jump, it's over his glove, it is gone! Cal Raleigh has done it again! Another home run! Number 33 is in the seats! Only 2 players in Major League history have hit more home runs before the end of June than Cal Raleigh. His magical season continues. He's a walking, talking history book. It is the season of Cal Raleigh.
It is for sure the summer of Cal. Absolutely. So yeah, he got his 33rd, and he broke the. We thought we put a jinx on him.
I was watching the games tick by without a run from the Big Dumper, and I was going Big Dipper.
Big Dipper.
I mean, what did we do? We're such suspicious. Baseball's a superstition. Not suspicion, a superstitious group. He joined. It's not just catchers anymore.
Yeah,
we're talking about
some of the biggest home run hitters in history.
Only Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire hit more home runs by the end of June 30th.
They had a little help,
and they had a little juicy help.
Yeah.
But of these 5 players that have hit 33 or more by the 30th, the last day of June, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, and now Cal Raleigh.
Unbelievable.
It's
unbelievable.
Yeah. And thank goodness it wasn't us.
Thank goodness
and
we
he's
didn't,
home
we didn't
against
ruin
the
it.
sorry Royals for 2 more, and then they've still got 15 games till the break, I think.
Yeah, he's got time.
So
he's got time.
Keep swinging.
Last, before we got to take a quick break here, fireworks, where you can and cannot light fireworks in Washington State. In case you guys don't know, here's a couple of rules about it. The discharge of fireworks is always illegal in any city, county, or Washington State park, on federal land, on public property, streets, sidewalks, parking lots, or school property, on private property without permission, which is obvious, and onto public property from private property. That's confusing.
The signs went up in my neighborhood about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Illegal in Shoreline.
Here's the counties. You want to know where it is?
Sure.
County-wise? King County is, you want to take a guess? You could probably guess.
No go. No fun. No fun.
Snohomish County. You want to take a guess on Snohomish?
Ooh, I'm going to guess no fun.
Nope.
Oh,
Snohomish
the FCCA?
County. It's all okay. So here,
what if you light it in King and aim it at Snohomish? We're that close.
Tricky.
We're that close.
Listen to this, though. Listen to this. It's always illegal to discharge fireworks in Arlington, Bothell, Briar, Edmonds, Everett, Gold Bar, Linwood, Marysville, Mill Creek, Mount Lake Terrace, Mukilteo, Woodway, and unincorporated Snohomish County. But there is Granite Falls, Lake Stevens, Monroe, and Snohomish, where they are allowed July 4th between 9 a.m. and midnight. So good job on those cities.
Safe, people.
Yeah, be safe, obviously, but have some fun. Kitsap County, the discharge of fireworks is permitted in Kitsap County, which is exciting. Let's see here.
Sound of freedom, baby.
Kittitas County, it is prohibited. Pierce County, only discharged between 10 a.m. and 11:59. Thurston County, the purchase and discharge of fireworks in Olympia, Tumwater, and Lacey is illegal. You can't even have them.
Nope.
So let's say you want to buy them and drive out to somewhere fun. You can't even do that. Clark County, you may discharge fireworks between 9 a.m. and 12 a.m., according to...
Thank you. Somebody finally put a capper on this.
Good job.
I love fireworks. I love it's part of what a memory for me.
Yeah.
Part of our life growing up as Americans. We love celebration of this nation's independence. But it's different for it's like a cologne. It's different for everybody who gets involved. I mean, my cousin, we used to go up. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit more. I know we're coming up on a break. We'd love
Can we take a quick break and come back to this?
Because I want to talk about personal use, personal accountability, and all the different factors and all the different recipes that go into making the 4th of July something that your family honors the past, sets traditions for the future.
Every young person within the sound of our voice, at a certain age, you all know 2 words: Boom City.
Boom City.
We're going to talk about it next. Also, what age? I got 4 boys.
I was about to say,
what age do you start going to Boom City?
You guys must go up there with a U-Haul.
Boom,
baby.
We'll get into it next, and we'll try to figure that out. Send us your text messages, too. 888-973-5476. What do you look forward to on the 4th of July? What are your traditions?
What do you dread? Are you a pet owner that dreads this? Because I know. I got
People
friends.
get nervous about it.
Yep.
You got to get those vests that hug your
Get
dog.
Thunder vest. Got some puppy downers from your vet. Little sleepies.
Get us over on the YouTube chat line as well, and find us there. YouTube.com, KIRO 97.3 FM, Jake and Spike Show Live. You'll find it. All right, we'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
A KIRO News Radio exclusive on Seattle's Morning News.
Mayor Bruce Harrell, why do you want this job for another 4 years?
Well, we have a lot of work to do. And I think that in my first term, we laid a great foundation by which to build upon. With the challenges we're having with our federal government, having to sue our own federal government, I think we need stable, strong, effective leadership. That's why I'm running for re-election.
Watch the full interview on the KIRO News Radio YouTube page or download the KIRO News Radio app.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Upgrade your heat pump or air conditioner right now and save up to 25% during Home Comfort Alliance Warehouse Clearance Sale. All remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners are now up to 25% off. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Vice President J.D. Vance today cast the tie-breaking vote in the U.S. Senate, passing the so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
The Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
3 Republicans broke rank and joined Democrats in opposition. CBS's Natalie Brand looks at some of the big-ticket items in that bill.
The bill, which extends the 2017 Trump tax cuts and eliminates federal taxes on tips and overtime pay, increases money for defense and immigration enforcement, but it cuts Medicaid spending, and the Congressional Budget Office estimates it could increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion.
Legislation still needs to be approved by the House. Now to the closing bell reports, a big change at the top for Boeing. The company just hired a new chief financial officer. Jay Malave is coming from Lockheed Martin, where he also served as CFO. Lululemon is suing Costco. It accuses the retailer of selling similar replicas of its jackets, sweatshirts, and pants. More from CBS's Steve Kathan.
Lululemon claims that certain Costco products imitate its own design so closely that it constitutes what's called trade dress infringement. That happens when a product mimics another so closely that customers get confused. The items at the center of the lawsuit include Lululemon's scuba hoodies and sweatshirts, its Define jackets, and ABC stretch pants. Costco sells a hoodie for $8 that Lululemon sells for more than $100. The suit seeks damages and for Costco to stop production of the items in question. Costco has not commented. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Some sweet news for Bellevue. Portland-based Voodoo Donuts is bringing its quirky creations to the east side, the company opening its 3rd Washington location. This time it'll be at Bellevue's Will Burton Village, known for wild flavors like the Bacon Maple Bar, Raspberry Romeo, and Memphis Mafia. The shop is set to open on July 8th. At the close today on Wall Street, the Dow gained 400 points. NASDAQ lost 167. S&P 500 down 7. Now to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union. Over on I-5 southbound, right at Olive Way, a collision blocking the left center lane. Seen some backups into downtown in a 45-minute drive from Linwood to Seattle. SR 518 eastbound just west of I-5, a crash now blocking the center lane there. Couple of other travel times for you. Tacoma to Olympia Drive is 50 minutes. Bellevue to Renton, 30. Renton to Puyallup, 40. And up into Everett, about a 40 to 45-minute drive from Seattle or Bellevue. Global Credit Union is where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early pay day with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are sunny again today. Highs in the low to mid-80s. Right now 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Before the break, we were discussing fireworks. Very excited about fireworks. 4th of July coming up. A lot of counties don't allow it. All the boring counties like King County and let's see, where else is boring? They don't allow fun things.
Pierce.
Kitsap County, you're boring. No, you're not boring. You are fun because you do permit them. Kittitas County, boring. Pierce County, you're kind of fun. You can have them between 10 a.m. and midnight, 11:59 p.m. on July 4th only. Thurston County, really boring. Lowe's.
Super boring.
Not only can you discharge them, you can't even purchase them. Totally illegal. So you can't even buy them and go somewhere fun. Like Granite Falls, Lake Stevens, Monroe, or Snohomish. Clark County, you may discharge them. You're not boring. You're cool too. So Spike and I were talking about 4th of July memories, fun times as a kid, what it means for you as a kid. And we were also talking about Boom City and going up to the reservation and blowing stuff up. Well, how do you feel about that these days, Spike?
Oh, boy, I tell you what. I used to I had a buddy. Here's the thing about Boom City. It's the community of, I guess that's, I don't want to mistribe the nice folks up there. I think it's the Tulalip Indian tribe.
Okay.
I don't want to
Miss tribe. I've never heard that statement before.
I want to give respectful credit where due. These are families that have been doing this for decades.
Yeah, they got their booths out there. They got
and they got
go to your favorite booth.
Kids got thrown with their grandkids. There's a great story. I think it's up on Everett Herald. And I used to have a buddy that ran a stand because we used to do. We often have done performances up at the casino up there.
Sure.
And they're in affiliation with Boom City up there. And I had a guy. So that meant you could take
yourself a guy.
I got a guy. Here's the thing. Every stand has pretty much the same assortment of fireworks to purchase, and all the stands operate independently, which means there are deals to be had.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to, beat anybody down on prices. Money talks, and
you can negotiate.
Buying in volume gets you bigger discounts.
Sure.
So it behooves the shopper at Boom City. I do this as a public service announcement. To shop around a little bit, to start talking to some folks, to ask what kind of volume discounts are available. What can you do for me? I want to take I've got the whole neighborhood coming over. I got the whole family coming over.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin used to literally have to go up with 2 different cars.
Because he was loading up that much?
Because he would have as you do. On the 4th, you have family over, you have friends over. You get together, you have like a dozen little kids running around with sparklers and snakes on the ground and boom, 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 boom. And then as the night progresses, you escalate the show of patriotism become somewhat dangerous.
People go crazy.
People go nuts.
My neighbor, who's also a good buddy of mine, his name's Robbie. I won't say his last name. To protect his innocence. His freedom. He is a giant child in a good way. He's a ton of fun.
A little on the 4th, we are all a little bit there.
He spends $1,000 every 4th on just big fireworks, everybody in the neighborhood. We all line up to watch Robbie blow stuff up, and hopefully not injure himself. But we're also kind of like, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that.
Better him than me.
But you can go up. I mean, that you can get a lot. You can do a lot of damage for $1,000.
And again, volume. Make some deals. Talk to some vendors at these various stands.
Yeah, walk around.
Right, walk around.
I wouldn't necessarily show the cash. You don't want to rub it in people's faces.
No.
What you want to do, what's your tactic? If somebody's going up to Boom City, you spent a lot of years up there. I've spent a lot of years up there.
Yeah.
What's your tactic for negotiating?
First off,
let them see you.
Let them see you. Let them see you leave.
That's important.
Let them see you come back.
You got to be willing to walk away.
Yeah, you got to be willing to walk away. Say, I think I can do a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And you may be able to do a little better. They may, in then turn, be able to do a little better for you, for fear of losing you to another vendor, another stand.
In any negotiation, the most powerful word is no.
Right. It's the leverage you have, the ability to spend your dollars elsewhere, and it behooves you to get the most for your freedom-loving buck.
Sure.
Up there. I wish I still knew a guy. If somebody out there knows a guy, anybody got a guy who knows a guy? Can we? If you own a stand, give me a call. I'll come do business with you.
We should have a show insider. We should have somebody from Boom City who wants to get in touch with us, who can just give us they could even walk around with a camera. That would be fun. We could do a live interview with them as they're walking around showing us the stand, the behind the scenes.
I would love to know the inner workings of Boom City.
Can they blow something up for us on camera? That's not illegal. We're in King County, but that's a workaround, right?
They every night up at Boom City, there is a little mini show from the vendors who know that what they don't sell, they're going to celebrate with.
Yeah.
Every night up there's a little bit of a mini show going on. I wouldn't mind being up there with a camera.
Hit us up on a text line 888-973-5476, and I think that's a fun way around. We can actually have somebody blowing stuff up.
Sure.
On camera for us. And we can see how it works.
Send it to us tonight. Well, maybe show people tomorrow.
No. We don't want you to send us anything. Don't send it, especially not in the mail.
No. We mean
don't
video.
send us explosives in the mail.
Send
Bad
us
advice.
videos. I meant send us videos.
Videos, yes, videos.
Don't mail me fireworks.
Don't mail us fireworks.
I'll pick them up.
Yeah, please don't mail us fireworks.
There's no time.
When do you think? So here's a question for you. So my kids right now, it's we're really careful to not introduce too much to our kids too soon. We've talked about this with cell phones and technology and the internet and everything. So fireworks is another one of those areas where, done responsibly, it's a blast, literally. But if it's not done responsibly, you're setting a bad precedent for your kids for their lifetime.
Sure.
And so how old should they be? My oldest is 10. I feel like he's right around the age where a trip to Boom City would be I felt going to Toys R Us when I was a kid.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Even the younger too. Not your baby.
I was going to say, my baby's one. I think he would still, there's something in his eyes. I think he would appreciate it still.
He's got a little something. You can see it in his eyes.
He's got a little mischief there, but yeah.
I think your oldest is old enough to be an assistant for at least 1 or 2 launches. Get him a nice punk. Let him light something off, right?
Oh, they light stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, great.
We give
I'm
them
not talking about the punks and sparklers. Yeah.
We give them punks to light things. I don't give them lighters.
It's never too early to teach safe and responsible play.
Sure.
In every capacity, whether it's a s'more, you got burning a marshmallow on a stick, you teach kids how to do it safely.
We love a s'more. You don't fling it over your head.
No, you don't grab the hot marshmallow with your fingers. No, you teach them safe procedures, and then you can roll right into fireworks.
Did you get, when you were there years ago, I don't know if they still sell this, because it's probably been a dozen or so years since I've been up to Boom City, but do they still sell, or I'm not accusing Boom City of doing this, but I remember at a certain time in life, you were able to acquire certain things that even at Boom City they told you they didn't sell. But if you knew the right guy and you went behind a certain area,
good stuff.
You could get the good stuff. Now, is that a marketing ploy by them? Could they sell the good stuff out front, or they just... Did you get that kind of stuff is my question?
We were offered that kind of stuff. One year we did buy that kind of stuff.
The kind of stuff that comes in a tennis ball.
Yeah, and can send lake water up to 30 feet in the air. That kind of stuff. Sure.
Super dangerous.
You bet. Yeah, and it's not, I don't want to say it was illegal, but I can't attest the fact that it was legal. It was definitely homemade.
Sure.
Wasn't brought over in bulk in containers that are now then stored behind Boom City, where all the vendors purchase theirs at a wholesale price and then sell to you retail, thus in the markup, thus in the negotiating capabilities of independent shop owners.
I had a guy, actually he's my buddy Robbie, I was just telling you about a second ago.
No last names.
No last names. He told me the other day, we were having a little bonfire, and he goes, hey, have you guys stocked, because he's already he's jacked for 4th of July. This is like his
more than one
holiday.
trip.
Yeah,
more than one trip up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, have you guys gotten your fireworks yet? And we said, no, not yet. And he goes, I got a guy who can get us a crate. He goes, we can go in on a crate together, a shipping container.
Oh,
he goes, it's $3,500. He goes, it's 3.5 grand. But it's a full shipping container. He goes, we could have a lot of fun with that. I was like, are you nuts? Like, I don't have time to light. How are you going to light a crate?
If we start at dusk on the 2nd.
If we start right now, when it's legal, technically, up in our area, which is at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and it is.
If we light it through midnight, we might get through half the crate.
Stop. No, that's also
too much.
That's the key. I was going to say that's the key to a good show is knowing the duration of your audience's attention.
Sure.
And not keeping the kids up too late.
Which is how long? What's the duration?
Oh, less than 3 hours. Easily less than 3. And we're talking from start to finish, from the kids playing on the street level stuff first, less than 3 hours.
I'd say 90 minutes is the magic.
For the magic, yes. And that's better.
And it's got to be dark enough that the kids can see it.
Yep.
I understand why people light them early.
Yeah.
Because obviously you got kids and you want to try to
It's about pacing. It's about building a show.
Pacing is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about gradually getting bigger. Every once in a while, I want to pepper one in just to like keep people alert and ready for it.
You want to build.
Yeah.
You want to build.
Absolutely.
All right. The Stones close with brown sugar.
You're totally right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Woo.
Text us, 888-973-5476. If you're up at Boom City, we'd love to have an insider up there.
We'd love to have a guy.
Give us the download. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We will be... Oh, what's this, Red Lobster? Red Lobster's bouncing back.
Apparently they're making a comeback.
Were they not back? Oh, yeah,
no,
they were facing bankruptcy.
Yeah, danger of losing it all.
All right, well, we'll tell you what happened. Coming up next. Stick around.
The Closing Bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
You listen to the John Curley Show every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
I listen to Charlie and Manda, get my pot of coffee going, then turn on Seattle's Morning News, and I begin to build my show that way. And you want straight news without opinion, just giving it to you with the facts. There's only one place to go, Seattle's Morning News.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute. Seattle's Morning News and the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio. Download the KIRO Newsradio app to listen anytime.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
This could be the oddest gift anyone's ever given me.
But I'll bet you use it.
When the time is right, I suppose.
That's the idea.
A plunger.
An Apollo plumbing plunger.
Free for me?
Actually, free to everyone we visit.
Because?
We believe some things you can do on your own.
And if this plunger can't fix it?
Apollo Plumbing will.
Just like that.
You call, we come. It's fixed.
Wouldn't you rather I just call?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
But for a simple backup?
Something I can solve myself?
Try your free plunger.
I'll admit it's kinda spiffy.
Apply a little pressure.
And if it still won't clear?
Call Apollo Plumbing.
The ready right now plumbers.
Our big blue trucks come stocked full of fixes.
And a plunger wielding plumber.
A clean screen trained and trustworthy Apollo plumber.
They come in a jiffy.
Arriving when promised to put plumbing problems in your past.
And give me a free plunger.
That too.
You know, I kinda like this plunger.
I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Just like Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I am amazed at the brightness and the clarity that I didn't even realize I'd lost before I had my procedure. How's that even possible?
A lot of people don't realize that. As you get older, the lens not only is less flexible, but it gets less transparent. And gradually, even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, the lens variety does get less transparent. So you get more glare at night, more halos, loss of contrast sensitivity, loss of some color vision or decreased color
exactly
vision.
What I was seeing.
And so when we replace that lens that gets cloudier and cloudier with a crystal clear lens, all of the light gets through, all of the clarity, all the brightness, all the colors. And again, with the multifocal lenses that we have, it's sort of like a bifocal built in, so you can see near and far.
Give the folks at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens a call at 425-451-2020 or online at sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an E-vision.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.com or 1-877-CARS4KIDS.
If you have aging parents, you've probably worried about their bathroom. That old tub? It's a slip and a disaster waiting to happen. Hi, this is Ursula Reutin. With Bathfitter, you can convert it into a walk-in shower, custom fit, installed in just one day, and backed by a lifetime warranty. No mess, no demo, just a safer, better bathroom. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule your free consultation. And right now, take advantage of 0% interest for 24 months.
Welcome back to the show. All right, there's a story about Red Lobster. I cannot imagine why this is on our show sheet, why we're talking about this today. I'm allergic to seafood, guys. I can't have shellfish, so
That's
I don't know what the
the
hell
only
you were
reason.
thinking.
Only reason it wasn't the lead story at noon.
They were
It's the only
apparently
reason it wasn't the
well,
lead
good.
story.
yeah, and it shouldn't be. They were apparently going to go bankrupt. Yada yada yada. Nobody cares because everybody's allergic to shellfish. So funny. I'm so.
I know this is so off your radar.
Yeah, because I would.
Let
I
me
would
ask you
die.
this.
You know what? The restaurant was about to go bankrupt, and my world was about to get a little bit safer.
A little bit sunnier, a little bit fine, a little bit
And now
happy,
they're
a little safer.
back
With a
because they have a new
vengeance.
CEO.
With a shell with your name on it.
Changing things up for Gen Zers, and they want to sell vibes. That's what he says.
Well,
Gen Z cares about vibes.
Does your family use the mid-level dining experience with any regularity? The places like your Red Lobster, your Olive Garden, your Applebee's, your franchise type
we're top
restaurants.
shelf folks.
There you
We're
go.
No, I'm just
no,
kidding.
you're,
we don't.
You're eat
I
at
have-
home kind of folks, though,
No, I
right?
have children, so we don't eat out a ton. Number one, it can be pricey, but two, the experience with tiny kids eating out anywhere
is
tough.
It's
We've
the
only
circus coming
recently,
to town.
we've only recently started to test the waters a little bit, but never for shellfish, which limits what we're getting in waters. But go ahead, Spike.
So there's been a decline in these mid-level dining experiences for families.
Yeah.
And the restaurant industry, as we know, is a tough ship to sail any time of day.
Sure.
Red Lobster had they say the perfect storm of financial troubles, in so much that foot traffic's been down 30% in the last 5 years. And most restaurants have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Escalating costs of doing business, whether it's labor, a higher paid workforce, or the cost of food itself, have contributed to their demise. Some horrible business decisions like the endless shrimp promotion.
Which ends up costing them a lot of money.
They underestimated the ability of fat Americans to come in and suck them dry from shrimp.
Here's what happened on that one, because we did this story. The reason that promotion didn't work in the ways it has in years past is the advent of TikTok. And they were saying that it wasn't meant to spread as virally as it does on social media.
It's not a challenge, it's a meal.
So people would come in and they would hack how to get the most shrimp for your dollar.
Right.
Instead of just enjoying a fun promotion. And it ended up costing them big and nearly putting them out of business.
They put them out of business. And
I thought maybe they were going to go out of business, but apparently
there was
not.
also the private equity factor in this.
Oh, yeah,
the company was bought by a private equity group that sold all the property they were sitting on and then leased it back to the franchisees.
Okay.
So the cost of doing business on the land they were sitting on increased as well. So all those factors led to the Red Lobster almost going away. As you said, a new company bought them, and they're changing up the menu a little bit, going back to the more traditional stuff, ending the endless anything promotions.
They have a bunch of new stuff. They have a few classic dishes they're excited about. They're putting crab on top of salmon. Not for me. They're also launching the $19.99 3-course shrimp sensation deal, a $5 weekday happy hour special.
That's a nice little $5 3-day happy hour. I know you can't go, but
I've seen the $5 happy hour at a bunch of places now, and I do. Every time I see that, I go, "Yeah, $5 for a drink is incredibly cheap. That's a great deal." I don't know how watered down these drinks are. I assume they're fairly good drinks.
I assume they're going to still give you a quality product.
But you go to any restaurant, and the drinks are always like start at $10.
$10
so $5 is a great deal.
Yeah, and it gets people in the door. Helps us all get through these tough economic times a little smoother.
They're going to rebrand the interior, not rebrand. They're going to renovate the interior. There's 545 locations. They're going to invest $500,000 in each of them to update them, so that the Gen Zers, they said they want more than just good food. They want vibes. And so the Gen Zers are going to come in. They're going to fill their fat faces with shrimp. And
feel good doing it. And look around and not see guys in pirate hats.
I got to say.
Lobster traps.
I don't know if this is going to work for the Gen Zers because they don't drink alcohol. We did this story recently.
Yeah,
Gen Zers
are
not drinking.
Stepping away from the bottle.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them, but they're not drinking. Laura, what do you think about this? Are you a Red Lobster fan?
I've never been to Red Lobster in my life.
Now's the
But
time.
I think that the fact that the CEO is like 35, 36, he's really thinking about what it seems like people want, which is, the seafood boils are going to be on the menu. That's been a huge viral thing.
People like to
online.
pour food on the table.
Yeah, eat it with their bare hands.
Through it.
Mess.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's when you know you're really eating.
Contaminates every table for me. I can't be anywhere around shellfish. So I
Well, and
can't go to these
he's
seafood
spot on too about like, for me, and ever since the pandemic, if I can get it to go and eat it in the comfort of my own home while watching Love Island, and I'm gonna do that. So you really got to like step up your game to make the restaurant cute and fun and interesting enough to go out.
Next time you go to Red Lobster, get it to go seafood boil and just pour it on your couch. And just eat it on your couch.
My white couch.
And see how that goes.
Let's do it right here. Let's do it right here in the studio.
Here.
You and your
big
cat.
table.
Your next sick day.
Boil right here. Right here, man. We'll bring Laura's cat in. We'll have a field day.
We got a lot more coming up. Stick around. I'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio exclusive on Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell running for re-election. On the issue of crime, people in Belltown are saying it's the worst they've ever seen it.
I take the feedback, so I don't say you're wrong. But the fact is that the data would sort of refute some of that. Am I satisfied with the progress we've made? Absolutely not. You don't want a mayor that says, oh yeah, everything is safe. So you're going to continue to see a very aggressive approach.
Watch the full interview on the KIRO News Radio YouTube page or download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is Jonathan Dichter from DUI Heroes, reminding you to have a safe and happy Independence Day. Please celebrate responsibly and drive safely. A message from your friends at DUIHeroes.com.
G. Scott here to remind everyone to have a safe Independence Day. DUI patrols are in effect and DUI rates are higher around the holidays. If you're pulled over for DUI, contact DUI Heroes immediately at 1-800-DUI-HERO, your DUI defense specialist. AAA asked me if I would change my name from Sir Mix-a-Lot to Sir Mix-a-Lot. I said, why would I do that? They said, you're more than just a rapper. You're a car collector. You're a businessman. You're an inventor. Just like AAA is more than just towing. They have awesome travel advisors and insurance agents. And they got 3 A's in their name. Maybe I should change my name. Give me 3 A's. Mix A, mix A. When I say mix, give me 3 A's. Mix A.
Jim Singletary here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we're not afraid to tell you no. Looking for a roofing company that'll do cheap, fast work and just cover up the problem? No, that's not us. Want a quick quote without a real inspection? Nope. Just want a price without knowing your options? Not happening. Look, we don't want to tell you no, but if saying yes means cut corners, bad results, or wasted money, we won't do it. Period. And here's the deal. Seattle gets 150 rainy days a year. That's not wait and see weather, it's call RoofSmart now weather. We say no to leaky roofs, sloppy work, and bad estimates, and yes to thorough inspections, accurate quotes, and top quality work that actually lasts. So if you want an honest roofer who's not afraid to say no to bad work, call RoofSmart today at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There is a partial verdict in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. CBS's Jerika Duncan is covering.
It looks like they have reached a verdict again on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but they're saying they're unable to reach it right now on count 1, racketeering conspiracy, the most serious, that says that Combs led a criminal enterprise.
The judge has indicated they will keep deliberating. Vice President J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote today, and the Senate passed President Trump's massive tax and spending bill.
The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
The bill now goes to the House, where it will face opposition. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
House Democrats are going to do everything we can over the next few hours, today, tomorrow, for the balance of this week and beyond, to stop this bill from ever becoming law.
CBS's Natalie Brand has more.
The House Speaker is setting a goal of trying to meet the president's self-imposed deadline on Friday. Keep in mind, it's not just conservative hardliners who voiced opposition to some of the Senate changes, but also some moderate House members as well.
President Trump was in Florida today getting a firsthand look at a migrant detention center in the Everglades. Correspondent Nancy Cortez at the White House reports he's suggesting it could be a model for future lockups nationwide.
The reality is that the administration needs more detention facilities to keep up with its very aggressive deportation program and detainment program. They say they actually want about 100,000 more beds.
The site is on an abandoned airfield in the Everglades Conservation Area. There is a renewed call for the disbanding of a controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed aid distribution system in Gaza. CBS's Deborah Patta has that.
Today, 130 humanitarian organizations, including some of the world's biggest NGOs, have called for the GHF operations to be shut down, saying the foundation is basically violating all the norms of humanitarian work, including forcing 2 million people into overcrowded and militarized zones where they could be killed.
Europe was sweltering again today under a severe heat wave. In Paris, tourists were altering their plans.
Walking in the shade, we try to use the underground as much as possible, the train, just to avoid the heat, and trying to run into museums as much as possible. That's what we are doing right now.
On Wall Street today, stocks were mixed. The Dow Jones Industrials up 400 points. The S&P 500 finished the day flat. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Coming up, a father furious over a plea deal. That's coming up after we go to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, and we start in Everett, where a crash has been moved off to the right lane on I-5 southbound. This is at 128th Street Southwest. Still seeing some backups in the area, though. Right now, Everett to Linwood, about a 25-minute drive. Another 45 minutes into Seattle from Linwood. Starts to jam up around the U District. Other travel times right now, it's coming to Olympia, 50 minutes. Bellevue to Renton taking you about 30. You get those backups out of downtown, then clears up once you reach Factoria. Renton to Puyallup taking you about 45 minutes. And Lake Bridges are right now wide open. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The father of one of 4 murdered University of Idaho students says he is furious. The suspect in the killings is getting a plea deal. Steve Gonsalves tells News Nation the state of Idaho failed the victims' families.
They decided to play God and decide what this man's decision should be, and not a jury, not his peers.
Prosecutors say Brian Koberger fatally stabbed the students as they slept at an off-campus house in 2022. The Gonsalves family was pushing for the death penalty. Instead, Koberger will get life without parole. The Coeur d'Alene community paid tribute to 2 firefighters today. They were murdered over the weekend. KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgartner reports mourners lined the streets as a processional carried their bodies to a funeral home.
Fire Battalion Chiefs Frank Harwood and John Morrison are described as devoted fathers, husbands, and public servants. They were ambushed and killed while responding to a brush fire Sunday. The Kootenai County Sheriff naming 20-year-old Wes Rowley as the gunman. As investigators continue to search for a motive, Coeur d'Alene residents gathered by the thousands Tuesday to pay tribute to the fallen firemen. Here's resident Marianne Bornhoft.
I saw every single overpass. There were thousands of people lining the freeway with flags. This is the most impactful thing of my life.
Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.
DNA results today confirm that blood found at a crime scene near Leavenworth belongs to Travis Decker, the man accused of killing his 3 daughters at a campsite last month. Investigators say the blood was recovered from his truck. Search teams are now expanding their efforts, looking at rivers and lakes across Chelan and Kittitas counties looking for Decker. Paying more at the pump today, drivers across the state reacting to a new gas tax that kicked in. Mike O'Kane drives for a living.
Not good. Affects me a lot. I spend more gas sometimes than I make hauling scrap because we drive around and collect stuff.
A 6 cents per gallon hike brings the state's gas tax to 55 cents per gallon. Now to the weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. It is all sunshine today with highs this afternoon in the low to mid 80s. Right now 77 and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Lots of stuff to get to still we haven't talked about. Some breaking news, which we'll get to in just a moment. The jury has returned a partial verdict in the Diddy case in New York. Who knows what that is? We'll dig into that in just a moment. Spike, I know you're a donut fan. We often talk about our love for donuts on this show. And Voodoo Donuts opening a 3rd location in Bellevue.
Yeah, I liken it to that series, This Is Us.
Yeah.
Where that viral infection sweeps across the landscape, affecting all those who are touched by it. That's how I see Voodoo Donuts.
This is us? Are you talking like a post-apocalyptic?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean how everybody watched the show?
No, I mean how it's infecting our area. This like circus of donuts with stuff on top that doesn't. You know me. I'm a fan of a more traditional donut than Voodoo. I commend their innovative spirit.
Yeah.
But again, here's Portland trying to tell us how to eat and live. I'm never a fan of that.
Portland is in no situation
to tell us anything.
What kind of donuts to put in our mouths?
Yeah, Voodoo's fun. Yeah, I don't understand the long lines.
Like a child's birthday.
But I don't want to live on that kind of sugar infested explosion of what is this in my mouth right now.
They're known for their eclectic flavors.
Yeah,
save that drop by the way, Andrew. Eclectic flavors, bacon maple bar, which a lot of people have. I don't think they originated.
I got to tell you, my good friends at Top Pot, not to be blowing their horn, but in honor of Elvis Presley, they created the bacon maple bar.
They created it?
They may be the very first ones that I know of that produced it en masse to celebrate the day Elvis Presley passed.
Voodoo puts a lot of gummy bears,
Captain Crunch,
things like that on it, and so people
crushed Oreo.
But they have fans. They have huge fans.
They have lines around the block.
Here's what I wonder though. We were talking last segment about how Red Lobster is clawing their way back from
the brinks of bankruptcy. Yeah.
Clawing, yes. Very good, Laura.
You didn't know that, how good that was?
I didn't. No.
That's the beauty of natural.
My subconscious just comes up with those.
Yeah, snap.
They clawed their way back from bankruptcy because they wanted to create a place for Gen Zers to go and have vibe moments.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if part of the reason that Voodoo is so successful is because it pictures well. Right? You can put it on an Instagram post and go, look at my donut.
It really does.
There's a worm on it. Or there's
gummy worms.
What is this, Captain Crunch?
It's so cool.
It's so crazy. We're so young people and our donuts are so fun. I think that might be the reason. I can make a donut with Captain Crunch.
It's very vibey. I think you nailed it. That's a great insight as to why.
I wouldn't put Captain Crunch so on at my age. I'd probably do something with a bran. I would probably do like a Raisin Bran, which isn't quite as exciting on a donut.
Sure.
But like, oh, you know what would be
Special K.
A Special K.
There you go.
Would be good.
Crunch and fiber. That's
There's
great.
too much sugar in a Special K, though.
Yeah.
Like, are we talking a red berry? Special K red berries? That's a nice thing.
That's pretty
I like
good.
those.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, that looks good in a donut.
Maybe like what if you did, okay, let's come up with a couple donuts. Like if you could come up with with a donut yourself, that would be a signature Spike or a signature Laura donut. What would it be?
Boy, that's a great question. I like the traditional. I like the classics. I like maple and bacon. I do love that. I dip my. How about pork sausage, blackened pork sausage, on top of donut with a nice maple bar?
That's insane.
That'd be great.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like
blackened pork sausage.
Yeah, crumbled pork sausage
on a
maple bar.
On a maple bar.
Yep. Call that a lumberjack's revenge, right there.
Really?
Oh yeah. Why not?
And it would look similar going in as coming out. I bet. Laura, what would you make?
I never look.
What would you make?
Honestly, Spike's kind of inspiring me with this sausage. What if you did like a breakfast donut that had, okay, is going to be too weird. Like picture Bavarian cream, but it's soft scrambled eggs on the inside instead of cream.
Oh, I like this.
In a donut?
Yeah.
A soft boiled egg in a donut?
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled egg. Although actually, a little jammy egg situation wouldn't be half bad either.
What are you guys talking about?
And then
You guys know what donuts
Jimmy
are,
Dean
right?
sausage
They're sweet.
Sprinkled on
top,
right?
and
Yeah.
obviously like a solid melty cheddar or Beechers as kind of the frosting.
I'm confused. Do you know what a donut is?
Voodoo doesn't.
Well, no. You just described a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, but why not
but in donut form.
make it round with a
like
hole in the middle?
kind of a
Boom.
brioche type.
Pizza can be a donut if you put a hole in the middle.
So it's not a sweet donut.
I'm describing a breakfast hot pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the assignment, class, is to come up with a hot pocket. We have hot pockets.
Picture it like fluffy, like a little Bavarian cream donut.
Yes, of course that would be delicious, but it's not a donut. It has to originate as a donut. You have to be able to look at it and say, hey, this is a donut, and it's recognizable as a donut to
What
everybody.
if we write donut with the sprinkles of Jimmy Dean sausage? Would that help you?
I guess that would pass. Or you put a little sign that says, this is a donut, even though there's eggs in it.
Regardless of what's in or on this, it's still a donut.
Very adventurous.
Okay, well, what would yours be?
I was going to say just an apple fritter with raisins in it.
What?
That's not bad.
Just
I like where he's going here.
Like an apple fritter, but also like you toss a couple raisins in it. When I was a
What
kid,
about an apple fritter without raisins in it?
that actually sounds
Genius.
that actually sounds better.
It sounds better.
So just an apple fritter. My ideal donut is actually already out there. Just an apple fritter.
Don't tell anybody.
And I would
but-
just say this is a signature Jake donut. It's just an apple fritter.
Can you do other like strawberry fritters? I'm sure there are, right?
I've had a blueberry fritter that's been very.
Is it okay? Can you go there?
It's fine. It's fine. A strawberry fritter, I also imagine would be okay.
Ooh, strawberry rhubarb fritter?
Oh, that would be great.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
Okay.
That would be great. See, now you're thinking you're mixing pie with donuts, which is closer. I feel like there's more of a relation there.
Sure.
So that makes sense.
I got one for you. When I was a kid, one of the great treats of summer was a frozen banana. You ever had one of those?
Heck yeah.
Dip it in chocolate.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Right. It's always money. They were $240,000. Freeze a donut or freeze a banana, cover it in chocolate, run it through the middle of a donut, right there.
Freeze a banana.
Right, frozen banana, chocolate covered frozen banana shoved through a classic,
Also called the
glazed,
lumberjacks.
raised.
So are you? Yeah. So are you? Is it
That's
just
called
like
the Harry Belafonte? By the way,
Is it a chocolate bar with a just a frozen? You're talking about
a frozen banana, a real whole banana, frozen.
Isn't that going to hurt to eat?
It's going to thaw.
So how long am I have to stand there with a donut? That's torture.
For me, not long.
Now you're creating homework.
You may want to wait.
My sister chipped her tooth
How about
once on a
chilled?
frozen banana at Disneyland.
Okay, how about chilled? How about just chilled?
So a moderately cold,
but maybe
banana, room temperature banana
right,
inside
so with
a
a
donut?
hard chocolate covering on
just
it.
Just a banana donut.
Yeah, shove through the hole of the donut, like
a
speared.
full banana.
Yeah, full banana.
Don't you? What's the presentation though? The presentation is just when you bite into it, you're eating a banana. Surprise!
You take
it's a
bite,
banana.
Take a bite. No, you pretty much know it's a banana.
Is it covered in chocolate?
Yes, hard chocolate, like a hard chocolate shell.
I feel like it's just. I feel like it's. You like the
dip. Yeah,
when they dip the ice cream.
I guess
cone.
you have to understand the concept of the chocolate covered frozen banana.
It's tough to
Got a hard
grasp, but I
shell
think I
on
get it. Yeah.
and then you take a bite of that and a bite of donut. That's a great combo going through, right?
I could see the texture being something that might be enjoyable. It's nice to chew on a banana. I don't know that I'd love. That's a lot of banana punch.
I'm just trying to think outside the 12 box. The box. Get
Sure.
the box.
Yeah.
How about a Reese's peanut butter? How about a peanut butter filled chocolate covered donut? Could you go there?
You're getting into voodoo territory.
Well, yeah. Well, okay.
A Reese's peanut butter donut.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
I'm
the
sure
Reese's
they have it.
Pieces?
You can crumble up, or the Reese's cup crumbles on top, like a peanut butter cream filling, chocolate covered there, right? It is, again, it's a little too much.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it's tough. It's a tough business. Obviously, it's not why I'm not in the donut business.
You imagine the
It's tough to do.
creative team at Voodoo and some of the stuff they reject.
Yeah,
right.
If they're adopting just plain cereal, what if we just put cereal on it? Genius.
They did.
Put them on the top of the list.
They got a cherry. I'm looking at.
I can't imagine the creative team. I think it's just a bunch of
guys eat a bunch of mescaline and go into a sweat hut for 3 days. Come out with a fresh box of donuts.
What do we got in the room? What do
Right?
we got in here? We can throw on a donut.
I got cherry cola. This is a real one. It's a cherry-filled donut with a cherry icing and a little Coke bottle, cherry Coke donut. It's shoved into the cream on top.
You're kidding?
A gummy Coke bottle. No.
Oh, the little gummies?
Yeah, shoved on top. I'm not kidding. Look at
That
this.
doesn't make a donut.
I was picturing that like Bahamas drink style, where the cherry Coke is upside down. Into the
shoved
donut.
in and it drains into the donut. That's better.
A margarita donut.
Yeah, don't leave us for the creative team at Voodoo, Laura. You're giving them gold.
I think you'd be very successful. I don't think it's a high bar. Anyway, they're opening a new location in Bellevue. Good for them. I hope they do well. All right, can we talk about this Diddy trial? Have you guys been following this Diddy trial? Sean Diddy Combs.
I tried to avoid it for the most part. I really had. Because first off, it's very sordid. It's horrific details of
if
what
tough
he's been
details,
accused, what he's been charged with, bears out to prove he's found guilty of trafficking of cross interstate lines for the intent of prostitution,
Sex trafficking, racketeering.
These are horrific crimes that could end up with a life jail sentence for a guy that's over 50. From what we're seeing, and there may be a national report they're putting together now as we speak, there were 5 charges against Diddy, racketeering overall being charged 1, and then 4 different charges, 2 of human sex trafficking, and 2 of transportation with the intent to prostitute.
Okay.
And of the 4, the jury has reached a verdict on. The jury has they've been announced so far.
Yeah, they say they've reached on the 5 counts against Diddy. The jury indicated they couldn't reach a unanimous decision on the racketeering
and
charge.
the judge is asking him to go back and keep deliberating.
He's pled guilty to these charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted, he faces life in prison, which is wild to think about. I mean, if you're a young person and you didn't grow up with Papa Diddy Puff, I did.
Yeah, Puffy.
Puff
Daddy.
Daddy, all the different iterations of his name, all the different people that he dated. Do you remember when him and Jennifer Lopez were like an item? Were they married or were they just dating?
I think they were dating. I don't think she married him.
Just dating.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good choice that she didn't marry him. She married everyone else.
Yeah.
But she
often, repeatedly.
But she didn't marry Diddy, which I think was a smart decision, given all these charges against him. But it's wild this is a guy who could not have been more famous and more celebrated in pop culture.
And he was a kingmaker. It wasn't just his recording, it was his production company. It was his
he produced all of these various artists.
And that's part of the charges against him, is that he used this power, this king-making capability to
coerce people into doing
doing what he wanted them to
do.
do. And what's the craziest thing about this trial is that his defense isn't that he's not this dark. Yeah. He's not this dirty. He's not this sordid, but that it was all consensual. There is the crux of their charges.
They called no witnesses in the defense. Their closing was of 30 minutes?
Yeah, he's a bag of dirt, but she said okay.
It's kind of what they said.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what?
They can't deny all the evidence of the things that took place.
He and Cassie, she's in the trial, and there's a horrible video of him beating her in a hotel lobby space, like right outside of an elevator that kind of went around the internet maybe like a year ago. It was unbelievable. Basically, they're saying, you know what? The two of them were into a lot of stuff. They're swingers. They're into a lot of sexual things that you may not be into in your bedroom, but this is about private bedroom, and he didn't do any of these things to these women, and it was all consensual, and yada, yada, yada. He didn't light anyone's car on fire. All these various things that he's been charged with and alleged to have done. Do you think this is possible? They're saying that this leads me to think, if they've come back if they've said, hey, 4 of these 5 charges we have agreement on, one of them we don't.
Right.
Doesn't that kind of make it sound like they're guilty charges on the 4 that they've come back on?
I thought the exact opposite.
Oh, really? You thought it was not guilty?
I really did. I think that the defense may have proved that this was consensual. Weird, untoward,
well, and the defense doesn't have to prove anything.
Right.
The state didn't prove, if you are proven correct, the state did not prove that he did these
coercion.
things.
Yeah.
It's a wild case. I mean, when you think about how famous... I used to watch this show. It's back in the early days of reality TV, but he had this show called Making the Band. Do you remember that?
No.
Laura, were you too? You must have been 6. You wouldn't have watched that.
She was too young. I was too old. You were right in the middle.
I was like right in the middle. It was like the early days of MTV. It would have been just after all that like Britney Spears, NSYNC craziness. So like I want to say probably 2004, 5. And it was a whole show where you're like, oh, look at this cool guy as he's trying to give all these young upstarts a chance to make it in the hip-hop industry.
Yeah.
And now you hear all these stories about the stuff that he put these people through, allegedly, and all these things that he's now being charged with, and these freak-offs, and all the baby oil stuff. I mean, they're not even saying that the baby oil stuff didn't happen.
They're owning all of it.
He's into baby oil stuff. It's not illegal to buy baby oil.
He had oil and lube like by the truckload because of these freak-offs, and they're admitting that they happened, but they were all willing participants in these.
Yeah. You know the crazy part is he would have these famous white parties that pretty much everyone, the who's who of Hollywood, would attend yearly.
Yeah.
He would have these big giant parties. And so you have watched as every person in Hollywood of any note for the last 20 years has probably behind the scenes been feverishly like, hey, PR people, get ahead of this. I stopped by one time.
Right.
And it's not to say that everybody who went to these things was aware of what was happening.
No.
But how could you not know if you were a return customer, if you were going year after year after year to these things?
I don't know. I mean, say you go to the same. I'm not picking on you, but say you go to the same barbecue every summer.
Sure.
With the same neighborhood group of people.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a matter of scale then, these big white parties that all the celebrities went to. Say you went to the Johnsons' annual barbecue every 4th of July.
Yeah, but if at the end of the night the Johnsons are like, toss your keys in the thing, it's a swinger time, you're going to know it. The reason they're inviting you to the party is because, like, think about the people who went to his parties. We won't say any names because we don't want to, drudge up old stuff.
It's easy to find if you want to know.
If you want to know, it's easy to see. Just look up
you.
Pictures and parties from Diddy.
I had forgotten about the Jennifer Lopez photograph that was made public during this trial of her in bed with Diddy. And not in bed. That's misrepresentative. But
well, they dated for what? Many years they were together.
Here's J-Lo and Diddy and a couple other very, very famous people I can't name because I didn't recognize their faces, but they're like in a bed, all wearing white with white sheets. I mean, that's like a fun photo they took.
I watched a video of him at a white party. He's up on the balcony and he's
a white party is where everybody wears white.
Yeah, no, it's not white people.
I'm just
obviously
clarifying
he's a black man. It's like it'd be strange if he was giving a party for only white people. But he
could if he wanted to. That's kind of power he had.
He was very powerful.
Very powerful guy.
It'd be an odd party.
Right?
It's like that Dave Chappelle bit. Anyway, he is at the party and he's standing up on the, he's up on a balcony or something and he's got a microphone and he's welcoming everybody to these parties. And again, it is the who's who of Hollywood power people. And he's like, all right, everybody, this is super fun, but now the kids got to get out of here because it's about to get crazy.
Right.
And you hear that, and if he's making that announcement, again, to me personally, I would have a very tough time believing that these very, very famous Hollywood people who he wants at these parties, it's not like he's sending them away and then just having a party filled with people who have no Hollywood recognition. Right?
Okay, I'm following you.
So I would find it very hard to believe that they were not aware of what was going on. They probably just thought like, oh, look at the debauchery, look at the craziness.
Yeah, it's going to get a little freaky.
It's going to get kind of freaky. They called a freak off. I mean, that gives you some clue as to what's going on here. But all of these people, for years, they went to these things.
But is it fair to say they didn't know the extent of the depravity after it was after hours?
I can't say that.
But I mean, say you're a celebrity and your publicist says, you need to be invited to this white party.
I know
Diddy gets a little crazy after hours, but for the fun daytime,
I would bet you
early hours, you need to be there for your sake of your career, publicity-wise.
I would bet you certainly there were some who fit into that category, like you're saying, who showed up and then recognized that things were getting out of hand.
I'm just here for the red carpet, and I'm out the door.
Yeah, I want to get a picture here, and then because it's the place to be, I want to be seen and be seen, and then get out of here. But I do think there was probably a lot of Hollywood heavy hitters, names that every single person out here would know, who went, knew what was happening, and still either stayed and participated or got out of there and just didn't say anything.
And then went back next time.
And then went back next year. It's like, it's a pretty fun, crazy party.
As long as I'm out by sundown, it's like living with a werewolf.
And maybe, in their defense, maybe they assumed that because they thought it was all consensual, that, hey, who are we to judge the craziness? It's crazy. So he could get life in prison. That could happen. That could happen. Not today, I guess, if they've come back with a non-decision on racketeering.
Well, even if he's found guilty of the other 4 counts, if they're consecutive terms or is it concentric? Consecutive. He could be looking the rest of his life. He's 50 now. He could get 10 years here on this one, 15 on that one, 10 years on the other one.
Yeah, it's life in prison. That's what they're seeking.
That's for the racketeering.
Was that just racketeering?
Yeah.
It wasn't for the sex trafficking?
No, the other 4 charges could end up with decades of jail time.
Yeah, he's not a young man.
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Your text messages next. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens.
You listen to Seattle's morning news every morning. What do Charlie and Manda listen to every afternoon?
I absolutely love listening to John Curley because he makes you think, which I love.
John has a real special talent in being able to talk about the topics we care about, but he's always trying to make it fun. And you're going, oh, this guy actually gets it.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio App.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s, who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape, you have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
DayandNight.net. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining, I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. We'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
Call Day and Night to save $50 off any drain cleaning.
DayandNight.net.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
With over 20 new home communities throughout the Puget Sound area, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. Learn more at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO Newsradio. Breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. New developments in the trial of Sean and Diddy Combs. CBS News has the latest from New York.
CBS News special report. There's a partial verdict in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. CBS's Jerika Duncan reports.
We have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, 5. Unable on count 1. That is that racketeering conspiracy. Again, this is what the note said. And it also said have jurors with unpersuadable opinions.
The judge told them to keep deliberating. They are done for the day. The panel has had questions about the judge's instructions and the testimony of Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie. But there's been little indication which way they were leaning. Legal contributor Caroline Polisi.
If at all possible, they would love to get to a verdict in its entirety. It does appear that they are having difficulty coming to a unanimous decision with respect to the RICO charge, which I would note is the most difficult and legally complex charge.
CBS News special report. I'm Cammie McCormick.
And I'm Aaron Granillo. A divided U.S. Senate today approved its version of a sprawling domestic policy bill that now faces new resistance in the U.S. House. President Trump, meantime, is projecting confidence it will pass.
I think it's going to go very nicely in the House. Actually, I think it will be easier in the House than it was in the Senate.
3 Republicans in the Senate voted against the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Several more in the House are now vowing to block it. Washington's Attorney General Nick Brown joins a multi-state lawsuit accusing the federal government of obtaining private health care information to find and deport undocumented immigrants. KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch has details.
In a break with past practice, the U.S. Health and Human Services Department is providing the Department of Homeland Security access to Medicaid data gathered by states. That's according to Washington State Attorney General Nick Brown. The federal government says it's just trying to make sure benefits only go to those entitled to them. Though undocumented migrants are barred from some federal programs, Brown says they do have access to emergency care under Medicaid, and no one should worry about getting deported just because they saw a doctor. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
Now to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. This report is brought to you by the Seattle Seahawks. We start in Renton, northbound 405, right at SR 900. A crash right now blocking the left lane, about a 3-mile slowdown that starts right at the Valley Freeway. And now starting to see the backups also build on northbound 167 approaching Renton. Looking at about a 45-minute drive right now from Linwood to Seattle. We do have a crash on southbound I-5 at I-90, partially blocking the off-ramp to I-90 on the collector distributor there. About a 50-minute drive from Tacoma to Olympia. You got those typical slowdowns through JBLM. Elevated travel times into Puyallup, Renton to Puyallup, 1 hour right now. About an hour drive into Everett from Seattle or Bellevue. 12 Seahawks training camp kicks off July 23rd through August 12th. Join them lakeside for your first look at the 2025 Seahawks as they gear up for a milestone 50th season. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp. Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are all sunshine today, highs in the low to mid 80s, currently looking at 78 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO Newsradio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. A lot of text messages, lots to get to, lots to hear from you. Thank you so much for sending these in. Laura, why don't you start us off here?
Well, on First Things First, Kay and Sultan says, yes, Dory had the best lead-ins, got me fired up every day at high noon.
Love it. Yeah. We're going to try to do a thing where we just jump right into what we think the biggest stories that might affect you, which local people are talking, not just local, but any story that is being talked about. We're going to obviously lean on local stories first, but nationally, there's always news going on. So at the start of every show, just to get us off and running.
Okay, on the Kohlberger plea deal, Benny the Tugboat expert says the thing is that doing time on death row is much worse than doing it in the general population. I've never been in prison, but even I know this.
He's talking about how the plea deal is now, the death penalty is not happening.
Taken off the table.
And now he's just going to be in the general population.
Guilty plea, the death sentence is off the table.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if he's going to be on death row for, there's people been on death row for decades.
Yeah.
As they are appealing their cases in, for future trials and trying to get things overturned. So who knows how long he would have been, but in in Idaho, they have made a plea deal with him, so he's not going to be facing that anymore. Is it possible at this point, with backlash from both the families, some of the families, not all, but some of the families who wanted it to go to trial, and also from the public, do you think the prosecution could step back in and say, hey, you know what, maybe we made a mistake here, maybe we should go to trial?
I don't know the technical legal answer to that. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, probably not.
They've made this offer to him. He's accepted this plea deal. I think that's a done deal now.
425 says death penalty triggers automatic appeal. It is too expensive for the state over and over. Yeah, interesting.
360 says trial is a crapshoot. He could have gotten off. Even if convicted, appeals could go on for years.
Well, yeah, definitely going for years. Yeah. If you look at the case, though, and if you look at what he was alleged to have done, what they were, prosecuting him for, would have prosecuting him for, it felt to me like kind of a slam dunk with these.
I agree with you. On the outside, it seems that way. It seems unquestionable, but they must know something to not want to put this in the hands of a jury and risk acquittal for this guy.
Is it possible that it really is just dollars and cents? Yeah. Is it possible that the governor in Idaho just said, hey, you know what, it's just going to be too much money for us?
For years of appeals. And
I hope that's not the case.
I'm with you. Tiffany Prob says, reminds me of a quote from Jamie Dutton on the show Yellowstone. There is what is just and there is what is the law, and they are not the same. And it's sad for the families. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Tiffany. Also a great show. Scotty and Kenmore, my uncle was recently murdered in Georgia. Jeez Louise. I am not in favor of the death penalty for many reasons. There is a very small line separating justice and vengeance. It's my opinion that anybody upset with somebody losing their freedom for the rest of their lives crosses the line from wanting justice to wanting vengeance. That's from Scotty and Kenmore. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Scotty, thank you. Very interesting. I disagree, but it's interesting.
Heidi in Everett says the same type of deal was brokered with Gary Ridgway. And I remember at the time, many were frustrated by it, including me. But after explanation and time to process, I understand and agree with what Idaho did. The families will have a much better opportunity to heal and mourn without reopening the wound for every trial and appeal. Let's get his name out of the news and focus on their loved ones.
The difference in the Ridgway case, though, was not, it's a very different case because there was many victims that they hadn't yet identified.
They were trading away him divulging information.
They were hoping that this would help bring closure to some of the missing victims' families. So they were using that as like the carrot and the stick, saying, hey, if we keep you around, you're going to tell us where and some of those names, I believe he did try to help.
Yeah.
In fact, recently, wasn't he just moved out of jail recently? He was brought here locally back to King County. Remember that? Where they transferred him back
Maybe
here?
6 months ago, 8 months ago.
When they were investigating another possible...
because he still may have valuable information that could help other families have closures. On the gas tax hike that starts today, Dave in the 253 says, I wish I knew why people didn't vote down the CCA when they had a chance.
Me too, David. Me
At
too.
least more people did.
Ryan and Auburn, nowhere to go but up. Washington State could be at $5 a gallon at any time. That would be exciting, wouldn't it, Ryan?
Oh, boy.
On the 4th of July, beach bonanza at the Washington coast. Kyle in Bellingham says, tell him don't go. It's a war zone.
Yeah, it apparently gets very crazy out there. Chris
Yeah.
Sullivan came on earlier with us and told
Did
us
he
all
say
about
100,000 people?
No, he said 100,000 is what they had
On
in the
Long
last
Beach.
on just Long Beach.
Just Long Beach.
And he's
that's-
saying it's going to be crazier this year because
the 4th falls
weather,
on a holiday weekend.
The 4th
Yeah.
is on a Friday, which makes it all of these holidays should always be on a Friday. I know they can't force that.
No, they can't, but.
Isn't it a shame when it's on like a Tuesday?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a shame. Go for it, Spike.
Okay, retired Grace Harbor County Sheriff's Department says 25-mile speed limit on the beach. No spinouts, no donouts. Doing a drive on razor clam beds. There's so many things to take into consideration when you're driving on the beach.
We have, there's you know, you go back through your phone and look at videos and stuff. We were down in, we were over at Long Beach a couple years ago. And the kids had never driven out onto the beach. It is such a fun experience for kids.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's fun for everybody.
Yeah,
I love it.
First time I did it was in my 30s.
We have this because you grew up on the East Coast. They didn't have that on the East Coast.
No.
So we're on the beach and my kids can't believe, they're like, what are you doing? Is this like, how are you doing this? You know, we're going to go in the water. But of course you're not, unless you're stupid, and then you can. So we're on the beach and we're just flying around, and it was such a magical experience. There was nobody else on the beach though, because we went kind of in an off-season time. If it's the busiest weekend of the year, it's a whole different situation. And, you know, can you imagine anything more annoying than being in traffic on the beach?
High tide after dark. Tide's coming in. Everyone's trying to leave the beach at the same time. There's people running around. There's fires everywhere. There's debris everywhere, which brings me to the next.
Toilets.
Yeah. Martha in Everett says there's a big event on Long Beach on July 5th, the 5th, where volunteers hang out and clean up all the crap left behind. And please haul off your junk.
Yeah, haul
your
off
fun's not over until you put it back like you found it.
On Lululemon suing Costco for their, quote, dupes, which they said in their lawsuit against Costco. Big Al, not AI, but Big Al in 360 says Lululemon needs to clap back and start selling hot dogs. That's funny. That's very funny.
Yeah, but if they sold Lululemon, it'd be $11.50, not $1.50.
Yeah, you're right. And it'd probably be a healthy version. Gross.
Veggie dog. On Boom City 253 says, I started buying my own fireworks when I was about 10 years old. I get mine out of the Eagle on the reservation. Get it?
I get
Illegal?
it. On Puyallup.
On the reservation down in Puyallup. I've been getting my fireworks there for the last 30 years plus.
All right. I think 10 years old is the age. That's my oldest. That's what I'm going to do. 425. My 6-year-old went to a booth on his own and bought mortars at Boom City. I was petrified. He was supposed to be going to get a Coke from the stand. That's so funny.
And a booth guy sold to a 6-year-old?
That's.
Did he even see him over the counter?
Oh my gosh. As long as the money gets up on the counter, man, good enough.
As long as it spends.
Brent from Olympia says, good afternoon, Jake and Spike, and Laura. I'd like to remember Brett. I live in Thurston County. My neighbors all over the place are lighting off fireworks like it's the American Revolutionary War. Not only that, but across the major street leading outside of our neighborhood, there's a huge inflatable American eagle dressed up in an American flag where you can stand in broad daylight purchasing fireworks. America!
I love that. That's great. All right, finally, on donut ideas, I'll read a couple of these real fast. Ann in 360 says meat on a donut. Heresy. Nick and Everett says chicken and waffles. Sweet and savory works. Maple cream center with fried chicken on top. Ooh, I don't know about that. Earl in T-Town says maple bar with fried Spam and a sunny side egg, and call it the Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna, I like it.
All right, that's an idea.
Anything with a fried egg on top's a better thing.
I don't know if it's a great idea, but it's an idea. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You listen to Charlie and Manda on Seattle's morning news every morning. What do they listen to every afternoon?
I listen to John all the time when I'm driving home, driving my kids around.
I also listen to the John Curley Show, and even by the end of the day, I still like to keep my brain active, and he's very good at doing that.
John, first of all, is hilarious. I never know where this dude is coming from.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute with KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Shops Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission. Free delivery. Angel of the Winds Arena Everett. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandswimspasale.com.
Mike had been a firefighter for over 20 years until one day...
I'm in full gear. The stairwell was dark and just kind of missed a step and felt pain in my right knee.
And the pain didn't go away. Turns out he'd torn his meniscus.
It definitely affected my work and my play.
So he decided it was time to get help. Yes, he considered surgery. However,
I did some homework and just thought that the stem cell procedure would work out better for me.
And he called Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. And now you can go running into burning buildings again, huh?
100%. There's nothing slowing me down at work. I'm a tennis player, a mountain biker, and I'm able to do all of that after the procedure.
So whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
I recommend it to the guys that I work with, to people in my personal life. I would definitely recommend it.
Get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Now save $50 off our pre-summer AC tune-up.
Dayandnight.net.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Celebrate the red, white, and beautiful during the July 4th sale at Dania Furniture. Take up to 50% off an assortment of styles for your whole home. Be sure to shop early for the best deals. Stop by our 4 local showrooms today or shop online at DaniaFurniture.com.
I always say, know where your food comes from. And for the best tasting food, choose locally fresh. Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. When you choose food from local family farmers like Wilcox, you support the local economy with jobs and promote environmental sustainability. Wilcox is committed to organic, humane practices that keep our hens healthy and help preserve the land. So, our family can keep on producing great eggs for another 100 years. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Welcome back to the show. Spike, have you heard about a little something that they have just finished or nearly finished building in the Everglades, down Florida way? You have family in Florida? I feel like you have family in Florida.
I've got family in Florida, yeah, on the Gulf Coast, you bet.
Family in Florida.
Yeah.
You ever run any gators out there in Florida?
Of course. My parents lived before my mom passed away, on a community built around a golf course, which means there are water hazards, which means there were alligators. My folks often had alligators roaming up out of their backyards.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah. Common.
As they were golfing?
My parents weren't golfers, but they had one of those homes adjacent to. But yeah, alligator sightings were common. I lived in Florida for a full year.
Scary as heck.
Yeah, big prehistoric monsters.
So there is a new detention facility called they've coined it Alligator Alcatraz. The center, which gets its nickname from the remote location in the Everglades, is built on an isolated, this is from a Washington TNND story. I don't know what that means. Como picked it up, but I don't think they originated the story. It's being built on an isolated airstrip about 50 miles west of Miami. Yes,
TNT, I think, is Tacoma News Tribune.
Tacoma News? No, TNND.
TNND? Oh,
yeah, I don't know what that means. Anyway, it is built on an isolated airstrip 50 miles west of Miami. Could house up to 3,000 legal migrants as they await deportation. Governor Ron DeSantis was joined by Trump, who was just on a tour, and they have since said that the actual number who will be housed there is actually closer to it's 3,000. People said it was going to be 5,000, but it's actually 3,000. So Trump was asked about it. He said, what do you think? Obviously a lot of questions about these gators. They claim that it's better for the detention facility because they don't have to invest as much money in the perimeter. Florida's Attorney General, who coined the name Alligator Alcatraz, said it is a efficient, low-cost opportunity. He says you don't need to invest much in the perimeter. People can get out, and there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. That would be scary. So they asked Donald Trump about this, and they said, Mr. President, what do you think about this? And he had some advice for anybody who might be running away from this facility. Oh, if we have it here we go.
This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If the snakes are fast, but alligators we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? Not a good thing.
They do say that about alligators. Did you probably already knew that? You're not supposed to run straight from an alligator. It's side to side.
I actually didn't have the evasive tactics down for alligator.
Their closing speed in a straight line is pretty quick.
They move deceptively fast.
Deceptively fast.
Yeah.
They're very low to the ground. They have short legs, so you think they can't do much.
Well. Which is surprising for a low hung car like that.
Well, the thing is, but they have that big tail, which slows them down, and so they side to side. So you gotta just kind of try to outrun them.
Is that the big story here, though? The land speed of an alligator, or is it the fact that we're going to drop down 3,000 illegal immigrants into a detention center?
Obviously, it's the kind of archaic alligator moat being built around. What do you think about it? Good idea? Bad idea?
I don't know. It's performative at best. You know, Trump, and it's great branding. Trump clearly wins on immigration. He wins on deporting illegal immigration. It's a very popular topic with all Americans, not just his base.
Yeah, people respect migrants who come into the country legally and do it the right way.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
For people who come in here illegally, it's kind of most people feel like, hey, you know what?
Do it right.
In every country in the world.
Doing it right. Yeah.
If you want to go to Canada, you got to do the same thing. You want to go into the UK, you got to do the same thing.
I don't think we're in an argument on that.
You just don't like the performative nature of this. You think it's performative.
Well, it's all about branding. You know, Kristi Noem out there cosplaying Homeland Security Director or Secretary. You know, out there in her tight-fitting jeans and her cool little cap and her arms exposed with a $50,000 watch. That's not, that's not what my tax dollars I want them going for. I don't care about I don't care about the PR campaign to go down and tour Alligator Alcatraz. And while they put the Beast, the presidential car, onto an Army Air Force transport and haul it down to go to a photo shoot and get some PR tape.
To be fair, they got to take that. I mean, they got to take that everywhere they go.
But does he have to go down? Because they opened it today. It's open for business. They're going to put 3,000 people there.
Yeah.
My problem is this. I just hope that they round up criminals that are convicted of crimes, that are ready for deportation, or that are awaiting hearings. And the due process, we were all crying for on my side of the aisle for a long time. I don't think the 70-year-old gardener is a guy that needs to be rounded up and shipped off to Alligator Alcatraz. I don't think the guy working the kitchen at the Waffle House who gets rounded up by an ice raid and then gets shipped down to Alligator Alcatraz. I don't like that kind of crap. I'm all for getting dangerous people off our streets. I think everybody is.
Sure.
But I'm not about meeting the daily $3,000 number threshold that this administration has promised its base, that they're bent on delivering, the numbers.
Which would be consistent with past presidents as well.
Yeah. Get the right people out, and I'm all with you.
I don't have a problem with Alligator Alcatraz. I think it's a novelty.
Hey, they got it open in 8 days.
Do I think they're going to do? Do I think they're going to do a lot of Alligator Alcatrazes, or like a regional, whatever your regional scariest animal is?
Sure.
Probably not. But it's an interesting idea.
Welcome to Sidewinder cells down here in Arizona. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
right?
I was scared of that.
Nice.
Yeah,
sure.
All right. Thank you so much for listening today. We got a great show coming up for you tomorrow. Don't miss it. John Curley coming up next. We got to go. Bye-bye.
Concur Technologies seeks developer at their Bellevue, Washington location to be responsible for development focusing on design, coding, testing, and quality assurance of specific SAP product features in a development team. Analyze and solve issues in existing and new code. Provide application implementation services typically within boundaries of specifications and project plans. Hybrid work model. Base salary is between $137,259 and $166,500. Health insurance, 401k, and other benefits located at sapnorthamericabenefits.com. Total compensation of base salary plus incentives is between $137,259 and $185,000. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427204. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427204. Apply at jobs.sap.com. Use requisition ID 427204.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specific